You don't give up. You keep fighting. You don't give up. Living with this, okay, is an ultimate violation to them.
Today we have a very special guest, Selwyn's lovely lady. She'll go by the name of Michelle or Shelly. What should we say?
Let's go with Shelly.
Okay, so Shelly is here with us today. And then we have Selwyn, who was on the last show, and Selwyn has quite an interesting story, obviously. When we spoke on the phone, I was surprised that you got married. It totally threw me for a loop because, I mean, you know Olivia, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So I got the impression that, you know, when you came here with Olivia, I was under the impression that you guys were a little bit more bonded.
Oh.
And so the thing is when I asked you on the phone, you said you got married after the show.
Correct.
And then from the conversation that you and I had, I got the sense that you got married even before the show. Well, you weren't married when you came here with Olivia, were you?
No.
And so
after the show.
After the show, you got married.
Show. About 4 days later. Yeah, about 4 or 5 days after the show.
You guys known each other for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Well over 10 years.
Right.
Olivia is just an associate.
An associate.
Never a bedside relationship at all. She is basically like a secretary. When Michelle is not there, she's like a fill-in.
Does she wish there was a bedside?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she wants something more.
More, yeah.
Right.
But I can't give her more.
Right.
Because I don't see her in that manner.
I assume you trust Shelly more than you do Olivia. Is it a trust issue?
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, of what happened to you, obviously.
Yes.
We all know this, but let's tell the audiences is that he was wrongfully convicted and they robbed 17 and a half years of his life.
That's correct.
Stripped you of your dignity. You had a tight family?
Yes, I did.
Right. And you have how many brothers?
5 of us.
Brothers, sisters, all siblings?
All boys.
All boys. It was a good family, right? You had a good childhood for the most part?
I did.
Was there love in the house and within your family? Yeah.
Plenty.
What would your dad do for a living?
My dad was a pressman. He actually owned a printing press.
Oh, I see.
And my mom was a nurse / surgeon after years of being a nurse.
Wait a minute,
she was a
how do you get to be a
nurse.
surgeon from a nurse?
She was a nurse.
She
then
got
she
a
studied,
doctorate after
and then
that?
she got a doctorate, and then she went to Van Etten School of Medicine, and she became a doctor.
Right.
She actually became a surgeon, a venereal surgeon. My brother, my sibling next to me, he was in the Air Force, and he was a pilot. He flew F-15, fighter pilot. My other brother was a retired, presently now he's a retired postmaster.
Right.
As well, he retired from the Navy.
Right.
And my fallen brother is presently not retired, but he is a UPS worker.
So you grew up in it wasn't impoverished?
No. We wasn't rich, but we was
No, but
quite,
you were like, you had a nice
comfortable.
middle class upbringing.
Yes.
Right. So take me through your childhood. In other words, when you were in school, were you a good student?
I was a clown.
You were a clown. All right,
I was
good.
a clown.
Love it.
You know?
That's why we
I was
get
a clown.
along.
Right.
Good grades?
Borderline. I was good. C's and B's.
Right. Because
Can't remember scoring A.
you weren't too scholastic. In other words,
No.
you weren't
I went to
studying.
G's for the block. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It seems like you had an idyllic childhood.
I did.
And then, so you're into the 10s and the 15s, you go into high school, and when did you told me you went into the whole drug scene?
I went into the drug scene.
And when you were in
about
high
the age
school?
I would say about middle school.
Right.
Like my 7th, 8th grade.
Right.
Maybe, I would
Well, that's
say that.
young.
Go back, I'd say like my 9th grade.
Right. Okay.
I was possibly like 16, 17 at
Well,
the
in
time.
9th grade, for me, as I remember, started high school.
15.
Yeah,
14
15,
even.
14, 15.
Yeah, it's like
Something
14 for me at least.
Yeah.
13,
Been
14.
a long time.
Just started off with small stuff, marijuana.
Started drinking,
Started drinking.
hanging out with the guys.
Were you
on the
drinking
corner.
before you took drugs?
Yes.
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 So you started drinking when you were 11, 12?
About 13.
Right. And
I
why do
think
you
that-
think? Well, I guess we all start drinking, right?
Yeah.
No.
I used to go. Well, you're a very controlled person, but I used to go to bars. I remember when I was. I remember as early as 13.
But I was
in
kind of
bars
like
at
sheltered. My
13.
situation
What's
was more
that?
like
How were you
sheltered.
getting in bars at 13?
We had fake ID. It was a different time back in those days. You,
It
know,
was,
you had the
but
same
still.
thing, right? You had fake ID.
Yeah,
you get
I
into
did.
bar, right?
I did.
So basically, the drinking and the taking of the drugs wasn't.
It led into that.
Right,
Plus-
but
plus
it
the
wasn't
peer
a
pressure.
situation where you wanted to escape.
No,
It was just you
no,
were a kid. You wanted to
no.
have fun.
Hanging up with the guys on the corner. I was
Right.
more like sheltered. School and church and family.
Right.
That's what basically about. But then I got a hold of the kids on the block
Right.
in my neighborhood. I started hanging out with them, sneaking out the house, hanging out later and later,
Right.
and started drinking. We wanted to be accepted.
Right.
You know, I was always looked upon as like a church boy. So want to be accepted, socially accepted.
Did your parents know you were taking that stuff from a
No.
young age?
No,
Well,
because
you
I
must
was-
have got caught, though. We all get caught.
I didn't get caught with any drugs.
So you got caught getting high or
I
whatever,
got caught
right?
under the influence and just trying to figure out what was going on.
Right.
But my associations, I always kept it like separate because of the rapport that I have with my family and that people that knew my family.
Right.
So I couldn't like expose them because I always felt like it was embarrassing to me.
Right.
But in the same token, I was doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I just kept it out of the household, and I did my drugging. I did out of my town because my mom knew everybody.
And it was a small town.
Yes.
Right. So it's kind of like Harper Valley PTA.
Exactly.
Basically, everybody knows one another, and it's easy
Exactly.
to get caught. And there's a lot of
Exactly.
gossip in the town.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it would definitely get back to my family,
And what town is that?
Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What happens if you get back into the family? In other words, so did your
I mean,
dad?
my mom
your
was
dad
strict.
did he kick your ass when he found out?
I mean, he would. I believe he would, but I never had the opportunity for him to do that because he never caught me with any drugs on me. But he always felt that I was under the influence of something. I always acted strangely. Always came in the house and running to the refrigerator,
Right.
having the munchies and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But they really couldn't really put it together. But they knew I was on something, of course, for my weight loss at the same time.
Right.
So
What do you mean, weight loss back then?
I was going up and down.
How heavy were you?
I was 218 pounds at one point. That went down to like 160 and 170. I started thinning out, and then I started seeing myself, and I had to build myself back up.
You working out?
It was tremendous. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So
Jogging
you
up and down the
were
street.
kind of like the cool guy around
Yeah,
town.
I was actually the undercover druggie.
You were the undercover
I was
druggie.
undercover druggie. That's what I was.
What does that mean, though? Like
That
you were
that-
selling it?
No. Hypothetically, I was getting high on the weekends, right? And Monday through Friday, I was getting high.
Oh, I
You know,
see.
so and I wasn't
So you
getting
were,
high.
you were a functional
I was
druggie.
functioning addict. Exactly what I was.
Right. But how long did it take you to get into the addict part? In other words, you didn't become an addict right away, 13,
No,
14.
no. Say about my 17, 18.
That
I
quickly?
became, yeah,
So you were an addict fairly young.
yes.
Right. When you look at Jimmy, do you feel a sense of...
I think me and Jimmy have a very good connection.
Oh, yeah.
Despite that he's a lifelong drug dealer, though.
Right. But I
No,
don't.
I don't do that anymore.
No, well,
Not
not no more, but we can say lifelong. I mean, you did it for a
No,
good
lifelong
25 years.
Long time, but not lifelong. Lifelong means I'm still doing it, and I haven't.
No,
done
no,
that
I'm not
since-
saying you're still doing it.
No.
Jimmy is not still doing it, but I'm just saying, lifelong means that you did it for
No.
throughout the career of your life, so to speak. I
No.
mean,
No,
no.
no.
Okay.
I'll tell you when I did it from. I did it from when I was
Started 18, 19?
18, 19.
Okay, well, that's when you start your career.
Correct.
Right.
To about 31 is when I got popped. So I don't say that's lifelong. 12 years, 10, 11, 12
You
years.
continued after you got popped.
No,
didn't
that
you?
was it, dude. I was done. I got busted.
Yeah, you didn't go back into it?
No, come on.
So you were at 17, you got addicted, and how long did the addiction last? Did you always have an issue into your 20s and 30s?
No.
No.
It didn't go that far. It went into when I was like 19. Up to about 18, 19 years
Right,
old.
but it got bad for you, right?
Not,
Will you
not-
do cocaine?
I was sniffing a little coke. I was smoking a little weed.
Heroin?
Drinking. None of that.
None of the hard stuff.
None of the hard
Pills,
stuff.
meth,
None.
ludes, nothing.
None of that.
So just drinking
it was
coke
just
and
amongst
pot.
the streets. Just amongst the fellas on the corners. That's
Right,
all. We
right.
kept it very low key.
And this was only on the weekends?
Only on the weekends.
Right. You were
every
functional
now and
during the
then,
week?
Maybe like a Monday or Tuesday, every now
When
and
you stepped
then.
out for your lunch break,
Yeah.
take a little toke?
You know what I'm saying?
You take a little
Go
toke.
to work, a little
Yeah.
twisted, a little tore up. You know what I'm saying?
That's not good,
You know,
man.
nah,
You were a nurse.
you know what I'm saying? But I think all nurses do a little something. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of them do a little something.
Right.
You know, because the hours involved, the time, the people that you deal with. So, you know, it becomes stressful.
Okay, so we're kind of painting this image of you that you came from a loving family, you had a tight family unit, you were close with your siblings.
But you
and-
missed, don't forget, you missed the outside life because you are basically secured in your home. Like you just said, you come from a good household. You never really have a child's life. I mean,
You're
you have
sheltered.
a shelter, right? You have a life that's inside.
Are you an
but outside.
obsessive person?
Excessive?
Obsessive. Do you obsess? In other words, you know, like if somebody starts taking drugs.
No,
they
not
know,
extremist.
They
no.
know when to stop. Yeah, you know, because.
Yes, I am.
Because yeah, but you didn't know when to stop though. Because
No, I knew when to stop. I wasn't overboard. I wasn't to the point where I wanted to OD. I don't have a high tolerance. That's what
Right.
it's about me. It doesn't take much
Right.
to have me.
go over the edge.
Right, not at all.
Well, that's kind of
Not at all.
obsessive. That's an obsessive
Not really.
person.
I could smoke a half a joint and be high the rest of the day, and I'm
Right.
good.
All right, but you're
I could
somewhat
sniff-
controlled.
I
You're
could sniff a half a
saying.
gram,
Right.
and don't need no more
Right.
the next day. You can only get but so high.
Right.
For me.
Right.
I can't speak for another individual, but for me, my tolerance is not high at all. It didn't take much for me at all.
When you were doing that stuff, was it somewhat of an escape for you? In other words, were there things that you were escaping from?
I think I was escaping the fact of being locked in the house. When I say locked in the house.
Locked in the
when I
house.
say
And
locked
how
in the house,
ironic is that? Because later on you were locked up for 17 and a half
Right.
years. So in other words, you
I think it
were
was escape. I
you were
think-
escaping the fact that there was too much supervision?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll say that, yes.
How much of it was also acceptance with who you were hanging with?
That's as well, too.
So your
My-
parents tried to dictate, you can't go with him, you can't go, and you were pissed off at that?
My mother was like the boss.
You were
the man
acting
and
out.
woman. I was acting out. That's what it was.
We can't put blame on your mom and dad for trying to supervise you.
No.
No,
I
that was
think- I
all you were
think-
doing.
I think it was more, how you say, excessive than, I think I think that my family was more geared wholeheartedly to do the right thing,
Right,
to be a success.
right.
And I think that was more overwhelming to me because what they wanted for me is what I wanted, but I think it was to the extreme.
Right.
Where it became where your friends are not your friends, the streets are not the streets
Right.
for you. Stay home, stay in the house, run errands, go from point A to point B.
Right.
Don't hang with the guys on the corner, go
Sure.
to school, go to church. So my church life was based around like a semi-lockdown because I was going to church Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday.
Was religion a big thing in your life?
It was a big
You
thing.
think?
In other words, your parents were fanatical about it?
Yeah,
Or,
I would say,
or extreme
I
about
would say
it?
extreme.
Your mom.
I would say
Extreme.
my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
And what does that entail? Like she had crosses on the walls and like I mean,
No, she just believed in the whole religion aspects and
Right.
all that it stands for. She
So drugs
believed
was
in the
just kind of a
pastor.
form of rebellion for you against
It
the
was a
religion
form
on
of-
some
It
level.
was a form of escape.
Right,
That's what it really was.
right.
Because when I would go out and get high, I was like, it was like a relief.
As a boy, I know it's different between boys and girls, but was sex forbidden? And did they try to
I
push
was
you
never allowed to have a girlfriend in my home.
in your home?
In my home.
But what you did outside your home? In other words, did they
home.
try to keep track of that and try to control that as well?
Yes, they did.
They did. So you're painting a picture of control. I mean, there was a lot of control with your parents.
Strict.
Straight.
And it's really, I mean, now that I'm sort of getting
But I
a,
started to break away though. As I grew older, I started to break away.
no, of course, but the
within
thing
the
is,
drug-
the sad part about this is that you had control as a child. You would try to be, they tried to control you as a child, and then you got robbed 17 and a half years, and that's a tremendous amount
But
of control.
there's a middle to this as well. Before the 17 years came into effect, the conviction came about. Is that I have actually, it had got to the point where I couldn't party, I couldn't go to clubs, I couldn't. My friends would come knock at the door, and my parents would run them away.
How old were you then?
I was about 17, 18 years old.
Right. And well, that's when you started becoming addicted.
Right.
Right. So they,
You don't blame your parents for doing that.
No. I kind of, at the age I am now, I kind of understand now. You know, looking at the way society is now, and the morals and principles that was instilled into me then, even though I rebelled about because I didn't understand them at the time.
Right.
But I did, at one point, in the early 80s, 83 to 85, I did use a form of escape. I did go behind my family's back and signed up to go into the Marine Corps, which I did.
And did that, you know,
Best thing possible.
you know, you and I, we have a similar, because my dad, not so much. My mom was always like on top of me. It's like, you know, it's like everybody's curfew when I was young was at 12. Mine was at 10.
Right.
You know, I get to the park. Hey, when's everybody coming? Oh, they're going to come at 10. Oh, that's when I have to go home. You know,
Right.
so it's you similar stuff. And I also tried to join the Marines as well, but you wanted to go.
I did go.
And I wanted to go.
Right.
Oh, you went. You
did
served.
go.
You did 4 years.
I did 3.
You did 3 years.
I did from
Honorable discharge.
83 to 80. I did 2.5 years.
How'd you do 2.5? Isn't it 4?
Because at that time, they didn't have a criteria. You had to do 4 years. It was almost like an ROTC program at the beginning. I went in not only because of the escape, but I did have a pending felony,
Right.
which the sergeant at the time spoke to the courts. Excuse me, saying that we get them into the service and we'll straighten them out.
What was
And
your
they
felony
did.
on?
It was an incident happened between me and my brother. A fight and stabbing was involved.
Who stabbed who?
I stabbed
I'm
my brother
guessing
with
you
an ice pick.
stabbed your brother.
You stabbed your brother. Well, you must have been high.
No, I
You
was.
stabbed him sober?
If I can recall directly, we was having a major argument.
Was
A
that on
major
your
argument.
record when you got arrested and that whole stuff came about? Was that
Yeah, but it was
they knew
dismissed.
about that?
Right.
It was
there, but it was dismissed.
It was dismissed.
Yes, it was
Nobody
Why?
in the
Because
court case.
your brother dismissed the charges?
My brother didn't carry the charge, but the state picked it up.
Right.
The state picked it up on its
rather
own.
the county picked it up.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And they pursued it.
Well,
but in
wait a
their
minute.
pursuit,
That's a fucked up thing. I mean, what did your brother do? He pissed you off enough that you wanted to pull up a
my brother used
pull
to
out
beat
a
me
pla-
up.
Oh,
My
I
brother
see.
used to beat me up.
So your brother was abusive. So
Yeah,
this
my
was your
brother
way
used
of
to beat me up.
defending
So
yourself.
I think
And
we
you got so enraged. What'd you do? You went into the kitchen,
I think
picked
you
up
told
the.
him to stop, right? You was
yeah.
like, leave me alone.
You didn't stab him with a butter knife. You
No, I
went
stabbed with
out
an ice pick.
with an ice pick.
An ice pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Freddy
Where'd you get
Krueger.
him? Where'd you get him?
I got him in the
On the
side.
side.
In the
Side?
side. I
You
did.
got so you weren't looking to kill. You just
No,
wanted, right.
no.
And
But
the
my
side,
brother-
side where like
In his lungs. I got him in his lungs.
you got him in his lungs.
Yeah, hit him in his lungs. I did.
Did he learn the lesson?
We never fought after that.
They
I
made
didn't
up.
think so.
And we made up.
You made up.
But he didn't press the charge. He didn't press the charge, but the district attorney picked it up in Mount
course.
Vernon.
And your mom
Right. He
too.
must have beat the
Stopped
shit
it.
out of you enough to get you that enraged to get an ice pick.
We was having a major argument at the time, and
Right.
he actually, my brother he actually just came out the army at the time. Okay, so he had little guns around, I know 22s and
Right.
38s, and I knew where they was at. I knew they was in the closet in the first room in the house,
Right.
up above on the second floor.
Right.
And from my recognition, I was downstairs and we was having a major argument, and I came up the stairs, and as I was standing in front of the doorway of the bedroom, he was threatening me, and he reached into the, he like went
Oh, you
towards
thought
the
he was
closet.
reaching for a gun.
I knew the guns was that
Right.
he had. He was reaching into the closet, and me being in defense mode, I actually pulled the ice pick out on him,
Wow.
and I stabbed him.
This is what upstairs you said?
This is upstairs in the house.
Right. Why'd you have an
We
ice pick in the bedroom?
No. We lived in a house. And my mom, we always had tools and stuff always running around the house, you know, because we were doing, at that time, we
Fixing
were
bikes.
fixing bicycles and
Oh, I see. Up in the house in the bedroom, you fixing a bike?
fixing
Taking them
bicycles,
apart.
taking them apart,
Right.
bringing the tires upstairs, working
Yeah.
in the bedroom,
Interesting.
stuff like that.
I think subconsciously you put the ice pick up there because you thought maybe your brother might pull out a gun.
No, that would have been a nice thing, but it wasn't a good thing at the time, you know what I'm saying?
You think he would have went for the gun?
I think he would have what?
He would have went for the gun.
I think he would have.
Really?
I believe he was.
So this is major self-defense on
Yeah.
your part.
Yeah.
The conversation we're having right now, I don't want to go too, because I want to discuss this towards the end of it, but we're kind of discussing a person who does have, you are capable of anger. In other words, most people won't think to pick up an ice pick
It was.
to do it.
It wasn't conscious.
Well, you would because because you're primitive. You're a Neanderthal just like he is.
No, I would. Listen,
Not even.
like he said, his brother's going. He thinks his brother's
Right.
going for a gun. Would
Yeah,
you
no,
not defend yourself? What would you do?
No, I understand that, but we're sort of painting this atmosphere of guns, ice picks, and others in general.
But if that's what's going on, that's what's going on.
Right,
You can't
but
deny what's going on.
How did this atmosphere? Was your dad a badass? Was he like? Were there?
My dad never really had too much say-so in the household.
Were there
My mom
physical
was the
beatings
boss.
from your dad?
No.
No, your mom gave you physical beatings.
Right.
Right. So was that?
My mom would spank me. What they called spankings back then were spankings to get me back on track.
What does
You know?
spanking entail? On the ass, or just with a 2x4 over the head? What
No, it wasn't that
had a belt.
violent.
Right.
A belt.
You had a belt.
You know,
Oh, a belt.
To his
Okay. Well, a
backside.
belt, I think, is.
You get a whipping.
Yeah,
That's
get a
not.
whipping.
That's not such a bad thing.
Or get the switch.
The switch.
Look, when
you
I
know?
was.
And I had to go pick them.
When,
Yeah,
to go to the-
exactly.
when I
Which
was-
one do you want?
That's right.
when I was like 15, 16, I used to go out with this girl, and all right, for her dad was on the wrong side of the tracks. They were like in the mob, but she told me stories. He used to just, curl up in a fist and just punch her right in the stomach. It's a 15-year-old girl. So, who knows what that can do to you psychologically. So I'm
Right.
just trying to
Right.
understand what happened with the parents psychologically to sort of establish this foundation of anger.
I believe that it stemmed from the upbringing of my mother
Controlled
in a
environment.
controlled environment. And of course, my mother raising boys.
Right.
All 5 boys with no girls in the household.
Right.
And she had to actually become the man and the woman at the same time.
Right.
So I think she was more overwhelmed with the raising aspect, which when I look back on today, I think she did excuse my language, I think she did a hell of a good job.
I was
Right.
just going to say that.
You
Well,
know.
you got to look at it from the mom's point of view, right? We're looking at it from his point of view, but if you look at it from the mom's point of view, what's the mom going to do? The mom's point of view is to protect their kids,
Right.
Right.
Be a little
At
tough.
any cost.
And in this case, the mom had 5 rambunctious kids, right?
Right.
I mean, you guys were all bouncing off the walls,
Exactly.
right? Were you the only drug person in the
I
house?
was, yeah.
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 Right. So did your brothers kind of look down on you for that?
No, they just knew I was the wildest one in the family.
You know, it's funny. So you paint this childhood that you were the wildest one in the family, and when I look at you now, considering your case, you're a nice, calm, kind of sedate,
this-
easygoing guy. But I'm assuming you do that because by default you have to be. You don't want to reignite that anger.
No, it's not that. It's that I grew.
You grew.
All my mother's morals and principles has come about.
Exactly.
In the course of
Learn.
I learned. All that she was trying to instill in me growing up.
Wow.
They wavered over me, even though I couldn't understand it. So when the situation happened to me,
Right.
years later, okay, all her prior teachings came into effect.
Right.
The humbleness, the thinking process, the associations, what brought me to this point.
And here I thought you were innocent. And now you're painting, when I was watching your
I'm
show
a
before.
misdemeanor guy. I'm not a felon.
I'm
a
joking,
misdemeanor
it's a
guy.
joke. But when I was watching the show, I was looking at you, I was looking at the profile, and you were wearing the nurse's shoes and stuff. I said, if I was cast in a movie for a killer, I go, this is the guy that I would cast.
Selwyn's perfect. They wouldn't look at me.
No, they wouldn't look at you, but then again,
Wouldn't look at me.
it's the guys you least suspect, right?
I think with all her strictness and what I've learned in the street,
Yeah.
I think that's what actually got me through the prison system.
Right.
For 7
Wow.
years. I think all that
She
came
set
into
the
play.
foundation. She set the
Unbeknownst to
foundation.
what she was doing.
Right.
And this is why I can deal with society after 17 and a half years of being incarcerated. Now, you would never, look at me now, you wouldn't fathom that I've been locked up that long.
Right.
And now have a wife as well.
When did you get out?
September.
Just this September,
Last-
10 months ago.
Yeah, new,
but like
just
why?
fairly new,
Yeah.
The brother with the gun, that was Selwyn?
That was Stanwin.
Stanwyn.
Is there something with the names
Wow.
here? or
Selwyn,
what?
Selwyn,
You
Stanwin.
guys,
Is there a
so
name
basically
thing?
your mother was raising winners, so to speak.
Winners.
Yeah.
Is that why?
I was a nurse. I was a nurse.
no,
along
but I
with my
noticed
brother,
it's
though.
Selwyn,
The last-
Stelwyn,
yeah,
Stanwyn.
they-
You want to know something
It's-
funny?
Bob
The
Wynn.
God's
Bob.
honest truth. My dog's name is Win
Get out of here.
because I wanted positive energy in the house. His name is Win. The
Wow.
puppy's name is Win.
Wow.
That's what his name
and
is.
my dog's name is Spotty.
So there you
Spotty, I
go.
like
Spotty.
Spotty. I like Wynn too, but I like Spotty.
W-Y-N-N.
Your mom built a foundation for you that helped you get through prison. Did your father have any influence in that foundation at all? Because it seems like he was almost like an absentee dad.
He
Like
was. My
right.
father and my mother weren't together.
How did that affect you in any way that your dad was absentee?
I think to a
I
degree.
think, yeah, I'll say so, but
How did it affect you?
I don't have the understanding or the relationship of knowing what it's like for your father to take you out to the park or out to the music park on picnics, sitting down, having a
Playing ball.
fireside chat, playing ball.
When did he split? Or
My
even if
father's
he
not
was
always-
there,
he's
when
always
was he
been-
not there? You could be there and not be there.
Right, he was always off and on.
Right.
Like he had a girlfriend on the side
Oh,
that he lived with.
You knew about that as a young
we
kid?
knew it. We
See,
knew it.
that's a
Right.
mind, that's a mind
and your
fuck
mother
right
didn't.
there.
Your mother didn't know
My
that.
mother always kept the Bible as a standing foundation. Her foundation was within the Bible standards, meaning that you don't supposed to go outside your marriage.
Right.
Okay, my mother
Well,
was
definitely not. in your
right,
house,
and
yeah.
she
Go
felt
ahead.
that in a marriage there's no such thing as divorce. This is what the Bible teaches her.
Right.
In the Christianity field.
Right.
So
So she
my
had to go
father
through-
didn't have those standards.
She had to
So-
go through the psychology of dealing with it. I mean,
Yeah,
she
it was
had
like,
to stick around.
to her, to my mother, it was like, it became like the norm. Like she always said, I leave it in God's hands.
Did you tell your mom, hey, you know, you
I mean,
gotta,
Mom, go
you
get a
gotta- in other words, if
boyfriend.
you're unhappy, forget about what the Bible
Yeah.
says to you. Do what makes you happy.
Right.
Did you ever have that
I
conversation
had a
with her?
conversation with her.
And what did she say? She said, no, this is, I'm a religious person, and this
She,
is
this is
what...
what God is. It's a preordained what God has done,
Right.
and this
And
is
you
what He wants to
understand how
be.
silly that is, right?
I understand
Yeah,
it.
you understand.
But I always try to fuss with her and try to make her. It was almost like she was a fanatic about those aspects, you know, said in the Bible. But I could not. How could you say I could not penetrate her? Because that was the way that was instilled in her.
Right.
I believe, which I took on part of that as well.
Right.
Because in the course of the years, watching this and watching what my father did,
Right.
I didn't want that for myself.
Right.
That's why I never went out and had any kids outside
Right.
the household. I never got married because I always felt that. Always felt that what he was doing, I didn't want that. Where my mother was, I wanted that. I wanted a family that I never had. So looking at him and what he was doing, it just didn't appear right to me.
Shelley, are you religious?
I am
You are.
Christian as well. Background.
Just like his mom, or no?
The beliefs.
The beliefs. Do you feel like you have
Religious
to go to
views.
church every day?
No, not every
No.
day.
Right.
Do you have any kids?
Yes, I have
How
one.
do you raise them?
Same values, Christian values.
What does that mean, though? That's vague.
Like, I mean, we believe in the Bible. We
Right.
believe in the Word. You know,
Right.
we don't go as often as we would like, but we do believe in the Word.
Right. Do you feel a sense of like you're sort of getting back into the same situation? Because I mean, you know, there's the Oedipus complex, right? We always look for a woman that has our mother's traits and values.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
So on some level, is there a certain you're a little bit uneasy about how religious she is? No.
No, because I don't go. I mean, she understands my
She
religion
doesn't
back-
push it on you.
She don't push it upon me. Exactly. Like my mother. My mother made me go
Right.
to church.
Right.
She doesn't push. I mean, she may bring it up.
She doesn't push it on you now, but who knows down the line?
You're married. You're married.
married.
Only 3 weeks, dude. It's coming.
Some fresh marriage, man. Give it some
It's
time.
You're gonna wake up with the Bible on your chest.
You know,
You know what I'm saying?
And so-
routine.
Let me just say something real quick. It's a funny thing, man, because I'm listening to you. Me and you grew up the same way. I mean, I don't know what happened after 19 or 20,
Right.
but I grew up in the streets in the Bronx, and we grew up
Similar.
the same way.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't the drugs for me, but it was just, man, we have a lot of similarity. With me, it was dealing in drugs. With you, it was taking the drugs.
taking them.
But I'm telling you, man, we have so many similarities with home life and growing up and just a lot of similarities.
But
man.
I was a function. When you say a functioning addict, I didn't have problems that other drug addicts have. Okay, I was actually going to work.
You
at
were
the hospital.
responsible. You showed up
I
to
was
work on
responsible, so-
time.
Right, and I was going to
I'm
work.
not so sure
I was
about
dressed
smoking
clean,
pot while you were a
but I was
nurse, though.
smoking. I mean, I was getting high, but I had to go rob nobody, go steal nobody. I had to go.
Right.
I mean, I sold. I ain't gonna. I ain't
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
look,
lie, but
Selwyn,
I sold 1 or 2 watches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand, but you can't
You know?
you can't argue with me. It is somewhat irresponsible as you're nursing through the day smoking pot because there is a level of high there. In other words,
Right.
I understand. Like Willie Nelson smokes pot. He's been smoking for years, and he can functions like a normal human
Right.
being. But when you have to go in and you have to put a catheter in somebody's body or
Right.
whatever it is.
But you weren't getting high while
It
you were
might
actually on the
affect-
job.
No, I wasn't getting high on
It was
on
not
the
on the
job.
job.
Right.
You know, but
you
um,
stepped away. You told me for lunch break. You
I
took a
did.
quick toke.
I took a
I
little.
don't-
I took a little.
You disagree with that?
You did a little blow?
I did a little blow.
No, not blow.
Yeah, I did a little blow.
While you were
I said that.
nursing, blow.
I did.
Wow.
You're
that
more,
was
you're
more-
more, you're more, you're more, you're more functioning under the blow than you are smoking the weed. I'm not going to tell you no lie. Me for me.
For
I
you,
can't speak for nobody
you were
else.
able
but
to
for me.
do. You were able to do that.
You know what I'm saying? I was feeling like really nice,
Well,
but functioning.
Look, for
Everything.
me, if I was
Not
in a
nodding,
hospital and
like
I
the
knew
weed
my
was doing.
nurse was doing blow, it wouldn't make me feel comfortable.
Yeah,
Right, but
that's not-
I mean, you want the truth, right?
No, of course, no. We're
that's what
talking
it
now.
is,
It's
man.
all
Do
good.
you find that more to keep you up or keep you awake or
it
keep
was
you
more to keep me up.
fucking?
It was more to keep me up. That's what it was.
Right.
I worked 12-hour shifts.
That's what the blow.
When
That's
you-
what the blow does.
Now that you're married, I would imagine, with all due respect to Shelley, but I mean, you were locked up for a long time. I would imagine any normal, red, hot-blooded man like Jimmy here, you'd want to go out and get your yayas out. So, is this something where you feel? Do you question that at all? Like, in other words, I know Shelley is a lovely lady. You've known each other. She's stuck by you, and I understand all that. But is there a sliver in your mind that says maybe I can't stay with the same woman for the rest of my life?
That really doesn't play into my lifestyle.
It doesn't play into your lifestyle. I
No.
see. So you like the concept of
I didn't have a family. I had a family growing up, but I didn't have a family.
Right.
But the concepts and the morals and principles that was instilled in me, right, through my mother,
Right.
watching my mother's separation
right.
and my father's infidelity, right, it just wasn't right. It just didn't appear right to me.
Right.
See, I
You know?
did some similar where that's why at 55 I got married because it was the same kind of thought process that
Right.
you went through where I don't want to raise a family if I'm not going to be there or if I'm not
Exactly.
100%
Do you
behind it.
Do you want to raise a family?
I do. I raise a family now.
She has a kid.
She has a child.
Do you
She
want a
has
child of your own, a flesh and blood child of your own?
I feel like honestly that's been robbed of me at this point.
Right.
But
Been
Well,
robbed
you
of me.
could have it. You could have a child. In other words, you're young enough to. No, I'm assuming you're young enough to still have a
I
child.
am.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
We talked about it.
See, it's been robbed of me and I can't.
We talked
But
about it.
you two, God
You know?
bless you. I hope you do.
So obviously, if you had a conversation about it, it was
Yeah.
some kind of an issue. I mean, not an issue, but
I mean, she wants to give me I mean,
you
We
have
talked-
an issue with
Give me a
having another
child.
child.
I don't have an issue with it. I think
Right.
it, you know.
So you want to have other kids? Why won't
if
you?
it happens,
if
I
it
mean,
happens.
if it happens, I mean,
You shooting
God
flags?
willing,
If it
I'm not
happens.
gonna. I don't know.
All
It
right.
might be. I
How
don't
old
know.
is Selwyn?
53.
Okay.
And my wife is
I'll be
actually
40.
Well, a
in
guy
August.
can have a
No,
child.
but it's got to.
It's just a
not
woman
that.
that has.
It's
But
the
my-
interaction.
Right.
With me, it would be the interaction.
What do you
In
mean
other
the
words,
interaction?
In other words, you're 53, right? So when the kid's 10, he's 63 or
that's
65.
my issue.
Does that come
You know
across
what
your
I'm
mind?
saying?
No, I understand
And
that.
that's what we.
So
and
that's
Are you
what
that's what we
concerned
talk
you're going to
about.
be 70 and this kid's going to be bouncing off the walls? You're going to be like, oh, I'm too
Yeah,
tired.
that's-
to-"
No, not even.
And then you're gonna-
But you're young at heart.
In some ways, you're going to have the same relationship with your kid because you're going to be too tired to be a father than like your father had with you because he was kind of an absentee father.
I don't think I'll be absent. I don't think I'll be absent from his life, but I think that I won't really have the willpower to be have the.
Exactly.
To
You
go
have
to
the
movies,
energy.
go to
The
energy of be going to movies like a father supposed to be doing
Right.
with his child.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
think
sure.
that's what scares me.
Right.
You
Your
know what I'm
father,
saying?
though, you felt a sense of love from your father. In other words, did he hug you and say, I love you, son?
To be honest with you,
Not too much.
Tom, my father passed away.
Your father
my
passed
father
away when
passed
you-
away in 97, 97, 98. My father passed away. I believe it was 98.
Right, but when you were a child, though, I'm talking about throughout your
I'm
childhood.
going to tell you,
Yeah.
and I sum it up this way. When my father passed away, I was actually in North Carolina, and I didn't I was told that he had passed away, and I didn't go to the funeral at all, and I had the money to go to New York and to Massachusetts where he was buried at. I do not know where he's buried at. I have an idea where he's buried at,
Right.
but I have never visited. I didn't go to the funeral. I didn't feel as if he was a father. My mother passed away, it hurt me deeply, and I still feel the pain from it today. I didn't have that feeling with my father.
Why?
My father was never there for me.
Right.
My
But he
father
wasn't a harsh guy, though.
He was an associate. My father was my associate. He was not my father.
Right. He never, as a kid, he
He never gave me money. He always took from me. Working, when I came home for, he always took from me.
took
got
what
some
from
money
you,
from
though?
me.
You
He
had
lied to me.
money of your own. He would take your money.
I was working
But he
at
was
the
an
hospital.
established guy, though. He had a printing
course.
company.
Of course.
Why
but
was he-
my father was also a severe alcoholic.
There you
Oh,
go.
I see. I got you.
He was
Okay.
alcoholic.
Were there beatings? Were there severe beatings?
Me and my father fought.
Right.
We fought hand to hand.
Oh, I see. So you're painting a different picture now. I see what you're saying.
You know, it's hard to talk about it, but I don't.
Are you okay or no?
I'm all right. I'm
All
okay.
right.
I don't. It's bad to say this in front of people, but I want to be honest. I don't know what it is to love a father, because I never had that.
Right.
He never did anything for me. Nothing. Never bought me clothes. My mother did everything.
Did you discuss
Everything.
this with your mom? Did
She knows it.
Did
Yeah,
she knew
knows.
the dynamic
Yeah,
between you
she
and
knew.
your dad?
She knew. That's
Right.
why mother tried her best to give me everything.
Your other four brothers, did they have a similar
Same
dynamic?
thing.
Same
The
dynamic.
same. They don't speak about it,
Right.
but my brother, my oldest brother, Selwyn, he is just like my father. And since I've been home, before me and Shirley got married, I was actually living with him, and I used to tell Shirley about it. I used to have major conversations with my brother, and I used to tell him, "You're just like Daddy. You're just like Daddy. You know, don't bring him back."
In some way, we can't blame him though, because
His
he just,
attitude, his disposition. This
Right.
my oldest brother wouldn't give me the key. I mean, you took me out of the courtroom the day I got exonerated. When I exonerated, I got acquitted. Okay, he took me out the court. I didn't ask him to come to his house. He
Right.
took me.
Right.
Okay, and of course, him taking me, you dictated to me inside your home, as if I was still
Still
incarcerated.
in, yeah.
Okay, you wouldn't give me the key to
Right.
the house. You did the same thing that my father did. Okay,
Slept
you
in a car.
added to it, slept in a
What's
car,
that about?
Slept in
in
a
the
car.
rain, at Food Bazaar, in Mount Vernon, under the light. The cops going past me, watching me, make sure I'm safe.
wow.
Okay,
That's
no
rough.
key to the home. Using a swig of toothpaste. You calling me at my job at the shelter, an argument about it. You use a sugar soup toothpaste. Are you serious? When I got 4 tubes on the shelf.
Right. So he wasn't your brother when you came out.
No,
he was
he
sort
became
of adding
somebody
to
else.
but he was adding to your pain because he wasn't compassionate of the
Exactly.
fact that you were in there for 17 and a half
Exactly.
years.
Another controlled
Another
environment.
controlled
Another controlled environment.
Right.
Wow.
And then you going out in the street, he's locking me out, telling me I had to be back in the house before 12, even though I was working double shifts.
Right.
At the time, it became very, very stressful to me. And I literally, at a certain time, I was at the point where I actually had to come, when I was leaving the job, and I look at my watch and see that it was 11:30, it take me 25 minutes to get home. I wouldn't even bother to call, I wouldn't even bother to knock on the door, because I already knew
You weren't gonna
what it
make
was.
it.
I knew I was going to make it home. So right then, I prepared myself to spend the night in the street inside my car. And I did that, and it was terrible.
Crazy, man.
I
It
see.
was terrible. This is my brother that claims that he loves me. When it came to a point in time when I came home, that I asked him to insure the car for me. He told me that he would insure the car, but the only way he would insure the car for me under his insurance company, under his name was Aetna.
I know.
He would insure the car for me, but it was that I could not let nobody drive my car.
Right. In no way, shape, or form am I excusing your brother's actions, and I think
But
he's,
this was just like my father. He took
right. But I'm
on, it's
talking about
like-
your brother now when you got out,
Right.
and it's really I think it's a kind of a monstrous act.
Right. I had no clothes. He wanted me to wear his clothes. Another form of dictation. When I started buying clothes, bringing clothes out, oh, you got too much stuff in here, you got to get it out. I mean, it was just one thing after another.
Right.
You know? And I actually gave him, from my foundation, from my lawyers, they actually allotted me like $2,000, right?
Right.
And I came home with a little bit of money, and I actually gave my brother $3,000 in cash, and he was still like,
What, to pay the rent? You wanted
No,
to pay?
I just gave it to him because he visited me a couple of times
For
in the
looking
jail.
out.
He had been there.
I looked out. He's been there a little bit, looked out.
Right.
Exactly, Jimmy.
Tremendously understanding guy.
Right. So
Right.
he didn't see what I see. He actually looked at me as a money train.
I was just
Okay?
going to ask you that.
He
But
did.
do you think that he thought at any time that there was money coming
Of
your
course,
way?
Of course. Once he found this out, and of course, see, in the course of my mother being alive before she passed away, we always knew that I didn't commit this crime. In New York State, there's monetary benefits when you're being wrongfully convicted. So I fought, right? Not so much looking forward to the payout, because that was my big issue was for me to get home. Okay, but this comes with me being acquitted or you being wrongfully convicted in New York State, that they compensate you for what has happened to you. Okay, and of course, yes. So my brother, Selwyn, throughout from the years I was locked up, from the day I got locked up 2001 up until 2000 and roughly around 11 or 10, my brother never saw me in jail. He never sent me a dime. My mother was funding and helping me with everything, even with as far as getting attorneys, as far as helping me with witnesses to fight this case.
Right.
She stood by me.
Right.
When my brother found out that there was benefits that come with a wrongful conviction, that's when he decided to come on board. He came on board roughly around about 2012, 2013.
Your brother's actions, is there some kind of, I'm not saying excuse it, none of us here at the table excuse your brother's actions. Is there a sliver in your mind that understands why he is, considering he's a product of your father? Is there a level of understanding there?
I don't understand it.
You don't understand
I really
it?
don't.
In other words,
But
can we not say by default, though, because he was
Similarities.
raised by the guy that your father was, he became your father?
I think his genes. I
Oh, it's
think
in the
his
genes, right.
his
So
genes.
somehow-
None of my other brothers are like this.
Oh, interesting.
None of my other brothers like this.
What does this brother
Him.
do? I'm sorry. What does
My
this brother do?
brother is the postmaster. He's a
This one
retired
right here, the
postmaster.
one that's doing this, is a postmaster?
Yes, he retired from the Navy. He retired from the post office.
They make good money.
Yes, they do.
And he's looking to hit you up, or?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but good
He
money.
wants-
But I mean, Selwyn now is
no,
he's
I'm
up
saying-
for he's not up for good money. He's up for like sick money. The joke that I had was there was a time when Selwyn was appealing left and right.
Right.
But after you get done with all these court cases, you're really going to be appealing,
Right.
meaning that everybody's
He
going to
only
be.
came to one
That's the
appeal.
joke.
I know. My brother only came to one appeal.
Right.
Okay. One appellate division appeal.
Right.
I've been through 5 of them and won every 5 of them, all of them, every 5 of them, I won them.
You won all the
But he
appeals.
only came to the final one.
Right.
Okay. All the other he was not there.
Interesting.
And what year was that?
That was 2017 when I won that appeal.
And that was the one he
16 and
came to.
16.
Did he get a sense that this is going to be the final try?
No, I was discussing with him the breakdown within the system. I was discussing that the avenues I was taking to break down the case were weakening the case, like the DNA, the witnesses. I was doing the breakdown in my appeals. Right, I was making these arguments, raising these arguments, and I was winning. So in the course of me winning, it was breaking down the case to the point where when I would win, they could not use that segment of the argument that they was raising prior in the trial that making me lose. Okay, the appellate division was actually overturning them and granting me a new trial, so they couldn't raise that issue again, which made the case that much more weaker in the next go around.
You faced 10 panels, back
Right.
and forth, back and forth. At some point, did you find a sense of humor about this? About saying, okay, here we go again. It's like you get kind of smiling, shaking your head. Or, because at some point, I would imagine there is nothing else but a sense of humor, because, sense of humor is there, not just to goof around, but a sense of humor is there to save us from the turmoil that goes on inside in our minds. Yeah. So did you have a sense of humor about that at some level?
It wasn't so much of a sense of humor. It became more and more serious to me because now I'm fighting.
Because
I'm
the
not
stakes
fighting
kept on being
right,
raised.
I'm fighting a battle that's actually against the enemy.
Right.
Okay, it's an unseen enemy that you fight.
Right.
to the point where you start to see that these people had actually sold their souls out to the devil. You knew, and they knew that you was innocent. They know it. By all the paperwork, you got cops, you got judges, all stating one thing, that he's here with us. How could he be in New York? And the paperwork is being shown to these people, and at the same token, that the paperwork is being shoveled under the table. So your plight becomes more and more in depth. It becomes more and more serious to you.
Every battle is a
Every
harder
battle is a harder battle.
You couldn't look at it in a comic way. I mean,
No, you knew. You
just-
knew when
just-
you was in that courtroom. You actually knew that when these DAs, when they first met you and seen you, they was forceful. They were pointing the finger at you,
Right.
calling out your name.
Wow.
But now it becomes to a point where it has gotten so in depth and so serious, and the fight became harder. You actually become a thorn to
That's
them
it.
within the
Which
system.
is probably the best thing to become.
Exactly.
You
Because you don't give up. You keep
don't
fighting.
give up.
You don't give up. And you keep coming back. You keep coming back, and you come back stronger and stronger. So now as you're in the courtroom, in your suits, and your attorneys is around you, you look at the district attorneys, and you see that you're looking at them. They're no longer looking at you.
Right.
They turn their back and they're talking away from you.
Right.
So you already know that they're on the limb.
When you were living with your brother, and you hadn't, I guess at this point, you haven't gotten any financial gains.
No, I
don't know.
haven't. No.
I find
Well,
it
hold on,
odd.
time out. You said you had Social Security. You had the game set
No,
up.
that was months later.
Right, okay.
I was working on Social Security. I was
Right.
working on
But you got a nice
the back law.
lump sum there from
I
all the
did.
back pay of
Right.
right.
But he was aware of this. Understand? He knew I was working on it. He never went to a meeting with me with Social Security. Nothing. The paperwork always come to the house. You got to do this. You got to do so and so.
Right.
He never went on any avenue or venture with me. He always sat back in the wings.
What I find to be so odd about it is the way in other words, if I had money coming in,
Yeah.
right? If I got money coming in or
Yeah.
potential money coming in,
Right.
I'm going to be on my absolute best
That's
behavior
what me and Shelly talk about.
towards
I understand.
towards
Exactly.
Selwyn.
That's a great point.
Because if there's a check coming
Right.
my way or why am I treating them like shit?
I know, but
Right.
the counter to
You know
that,
what I'm saying?
the counter
right?
to
Why
that
am I
is,
treating them like shit?
Absolutely.
Dude,
Right.
the house
That's
is yours.
fact. That's
You
what-
do what you
I
want to do.
understand that, but the
That's
counter
true.
is he can't help himself. His
But
brother is
I'm
his
just
brother. In other
saying,
words,
I mean, what does
once
he
you're
think?
one
Am I going
way,
to give
the
you
part
money?
that
Am I
he
he
giving
can't break out of your
struggles.
skin.
I'm just
That's who
saying.
you are.
Now, I'll be honest with you. Now,
He struggles with that.
Now, what Jimmy just said is so correct, Tom. He is so correct because I've actually had a discussion with Shelly a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't a couple of weeks ago. It maybe was like 10
Maybe
days ago.
about a week ago,
About a
2
week
weeks ago.
I actually wanted to go out. I was actually in the process. This may sound odd to you and all the people out in the TV world, but it's the God's honest truth. I own 6 cars. Okay, they're not
You
new
said that the
cars.
last show, right? Sure.
Right.
That's your
Also,
thing.
those are my toys. I have a motorcycle.
Right.
Some things I never had that I thought
gotta
I'd
start
never have.
hanging with him.
Okay, and I don't live comfortably, but I'm okay. But I actually went out and I looked at a CTS Cadillac for my brother because I know he drives a very small 2001 Honda Civic.
How could you do that?
And I was going to
I
I was going to
agree.
give him a car. I actually went out and talked to a couple of friends of mine that owned the dealership, and I got the car at rock bottom price. I was getting ready to purchase the car.
Was your thought process give him the car and turn away and walk away?
My-
That's kind of like your
He want-
consolation prize, and you walk away from him.
No.
No.
What I wanted to do was I put everything
Open the
set
door.
everything
You're
to the
looking
side,
for your
open the
brother's
door.
love.
You open the door.
Maybe
to
that's
that.
part of it.
Stop doing me. Let you know that I'm not the person that you think I am 40 years ago.
I think I'm hearing Shelly in that car for some reason. And I don't know, just that do unto others like, all right, look, he screwed you, but let's do the right thing because
Right.
it doesn't matter what
That's-
he did.
No, we established that,
Let's,
but let him
you know.
finish. But get down to the nitty gritty of why.
I was going to buy him the car, right? And I got a real good price on a Cadillac, a big 4-door Cadillac.
What? Not a new car? How
It
dare
was
you?
new. It
Oh,
was new. It was
new.
2000. It was 2017.
Right,
It never
okay.
been touched. It
No,
was
that's
nice.
new.
It was nice.
But what did I call it? The type of gift?
I think you need to tell him that.
I called it a guilt gift.
It was a guilt gift.
You know,
Guilt gift.
she
he
called
has
it.
a guilt
I
gift.
felt bad.
Is
I
it?
felt bad
Is
because
it?
I'm having I'm having all these cars and having a motorcycle, and I miss my, I miss,
but
I
this
miss
is
my
this
brother.
guy kept on fucking you every step of the way.
But I
so
miss him.
why
It's
the
my
guilt?
brother.
miss him.
Why
You
the
know what I'm
guilt?
saying? I miss him. You know, it's just my brother. Like
But
I feel.
you got 3 others.
Right, but I don't have no association with them because they have never been to court with me and they have never came to visit me.
Oh, I see.
But,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
so-
but was his being in court and
Was it
honest?
genuine,
Well, yeah,
right?
was it genuine? And I don't think it
Well,
was.
wait a minute, time out. You can't say that. You never met his brother, so you don't. You
He
don't
just
know.
told
I
us
know.
about
I
his
understand that, but you
brother.
don't know his brother, so you can't make that.
But
you can't make that
I
determination.
could be honest
No,
with how
but
I
there's
feel.
there's nuances involved. In other words, maybe
Listen.
when you meet his brother, you might see something in him.
He just
a
said
sense
his
of
brother
humanity.
was there. I'm not saying his brother, and I'm
You know
sure
what I'm
there
saying?
is. I'm
In
just
other
saying
words-
I think his brother was in it. This is me. Showed up when the money was potentially there.
I
That's
understand,
all.
and I would be
That's my
prone
think
to
that's somewhat
agreeing
of it,
with
too.
him as well.
Right.
But there still are nuances, and the thing is, he's obviously doing this for a reason.
Right.
Right.
So we
Listen,
have to
okay.
acknowledge the reason. That's all I'm saying.
I felt bad. I felt bad for looking at him, the car that he drives and all the cars that I drive.
I think that he just loves
it's
him.
still
You
fair.
love
I-
your family. You just want
I just want a
to
normal
reciprocate.
family.
Yeah.
You want a normal family, but the thing is that you feel the frustrations that you can't have a normal family. As it pertains to your brother, you and your brother's dynamics, you can't have that. This is what you're telling me. But you can't thread that needle because you're always
I just
hopeful
want it
that
to
your
stop.
brother's going to come around. So it's almost becomes like an abusive relationship on some level
Yeah.
where you hope.
I'm being abused. I mean,
Yeah.
he laughs at me and like when I talk to him, try to speak to him on different subjects or whatever.
Right.
But he would throw stuff at my face and he'll laugh at me.
Right.
Like I'm like, you think it's a joke? I mean, like, you really taking me for a joke? You think it's funny, right?
Right.
You push me to a level that you don't want to go there with me.
Right. And
Please
he's your
don't do
older
this to me.
brother,
It's my
right?
oldest brother.
Is this
right?
the one that you stabbed?
No.
Okay.
No, that's what's underneath him.
Okay.
But my brother's 61 years old.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
He's the oldest one. But he'll say things and push me to a level like, and then he'll smile about it like it's a joke. Like you take my seriousness as a joke. Like
You were the youngest?
I'm third to the youngest.
You're third to
I'm
the
second
youngest.
to the youngest.
Right.
Second to the youngest.
Second.
So it's like if it's not his way, if it's not his way, it's always a battle. You know, you got to hear him, but he's not going to hear you. All right, and this is the total argument and the beef they have with him.
You understand it's an abusive relationship.
I know it is.
Right.
It
but
just
but
that's not
yet you
physical.
still keep on hanging in there because you're a hopeful guy.
Because
You want
he's
things to.
all
Do you want the
I
tables
got.
to turn? Right. I see
Do you
Shelley
think the
shaking her
gift?
head.
I think he thinks the gift will kind of maybe soften him up a
Right,
little.
that's right.
Right.
That's
What do
I'm
you
feeling.
think? Do you think knowing his brother for as long as you've known him, you think that's gonna happen? Is it gonna come around?
Based on what I've understood, probably not.
Probably
I'm
not.
with you.
Yeah, probably not.
Michelle-
but I know
Michelle-
the hurt that he has behind it.
Michelle has
By the way, it's Michelle.
Michelle.
Say it right, like the song.
Okay.
Like the Beatles song.
I'm not saying because she's married to me or vice versa, because I've done this before I even got married to her, right? Michelle respects me. Okay, I'm not the best person to live with.
She puts up with your shit?
Right. Yes, she
Right.
does. Yes, she does.
Why do you say me though? What does she do that?
Because it's like this little tease, because I always say that whenever I want
so you
something.
do it in a joking manner.
Yeah, when I say I
see.
want to do something, it's
Right.
like, why do you want? You don't need that. But when you want to go to a beauty salon, it's like it's you, or you want to go buy this. It's
I
you.
understand that,
It's
but
me,
here's
me,
the
me,
deal:
me,
when
me,
she
me,
goes
me.
when she goes to a beauty salon, there are things that, from a woman's perspective, the guys just can't understand.
Right, but not back
I
to
don't
back,
understand
Tom.
that a woman goes and blows her hair out in
Yeah,
the
but
hair
not
salon.
back to back. Like, you just got her hair done. Like, look at her hair now. I mean, she got it done like 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's
But
an
prior-
obsessive.
but
Maybe a
prior
little
to that-
obsessive, Shelley.
No.
Prior to that, she was there a
He's
week before, a
exaggerating.
different hairstyle. So I'm like, I'm in New York.
Right.
Up in
And that
Albany.
takes a lot of work to
Yes,
do,
it
right?
does.
It does.
But I'm
How
up
long
in,
are you at the hair salon?
This one here it's only been a couple of weeks.
Right.
He didn't
Don't
ask
you
you that.
want to
He asked,
sometimes
he asked how long it
revert
take you
back
to
in
get
the
up.
70s? You do a nice little afro like back in the day. You'd be a nice
Yeah, I'm
militant
gonna
kid.
pass on that.
But I mean, it's like a me thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm starting to adjust to it to a certain degree.
Right.
But now she kind of laid off that. She's like, you want to go ahead and get it, honey? Go ahead and get it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at the beginning, for a couple weeks, it was like, it's all about her. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, she was getting her hair done this week, and then she didn't like that style. Then next week, next 10 days later, she back. I'm like, what are you doing? Just came from
The reason is no, because he the one thing he may want, he already has 8 of them. So
Right.
it's going to be a no. And then something else, he has 6 of them. So it's
Why
like,
do
why
you
do you
have
keep
6 cars?
Well,
He's
he's
obsessed.
upset. I think you're a little
I mean,
obsessive with the cars.
I think because I don't use drugs and I don't hang out in
That's
the
his
street.
high.
And that's my high. I mean,
your thing?
That's my thing. I mean, I really
You
do.
know you can only drive one at a time, right?
Why don't you get little Matchbox cars? Yeah. A whole bunch. You get 30, 40 of them. Little Hot Wheels. Remember Hot Wheels when we were kids?
I mean, me, but you know, and plus she has 3.
You got
She has
3
I
cars?
give it to
Not
her.
including his 6?
No.
No.
No, I
You
get.
got 9 cars in the family?
No.
No, it's 6 cars, but she
Oh, you gave her 3?
She's taking on 3. I don't. I mean,
Right.
I mean,
You're
like I
almost
have.
like
cars
Elvis
you got.
Presley. I
Yeah,
mean, you give
really.
people cars. And
No,
that's kind of what Elvis
I
did.
mean, I love her, but it's she took the finest cars, Tom.
She took the finest
What do you
cars.
think she's going to do?
Tom,
She's a
she took-
woman.
I
What do you
mean-
think
Listen,
she's gonna do?
I don't know if you remember this because I don't know if this line was out before you went into prison. What is it? Happy wife, happy life? Is that
wife,
what they
happy
say?
life.
Now I don't necessarily agree with that because that sort of paves a foundation where the man always has to cater to his wife.
Right.
Right, and that shouldn't have to be because. It's safe to say it should be a quid pro quo,
Absolutely.
be 50-50, right?
But do I care? Do you think I cater
No,
to
I
you?
think
You gave her 3 cars. Of course you catered to her.
I mean, honestly, do you think
I mean, if
I'll
he
marry you
dangle
for
them,
3 cars.
I mean, I just, boy, I mean,
it's hard to say no after you keep dangling them and you keep elevating them one after the
I
other.
think I do cater to you.
I cater to you too.
No, but I mean, I think I
Whoa,
cater to you.
whoa, wait a
Yeah.
minute, but see, I'm starting to get a little. So now we're getting a little bit like
Yeah.
tit for tat here.
No,
But
I think I cater for you more.
Okay.
I think
Well,
when she,
but wait a
when-
minute,
when
nobody's really measuring.
Yeah,
In other words,
we're not.
we can't measure either. I mean, it's fair game.
I don't
right?
know.
No, there's no.
No.
There's no measure, but in other words, you just got to ask yourself. I mean, you trust her, you're happy, and you do. I would imagine there's a lot of times behind closed doors.
I mean,
where
I
there's-
trust
There's
her.
a
I
lot
do.
of emotional stuff
It
that's
is.
going
I
on,
know.
and I would imagine that you. I'm
Absolutely.
guessing you're the nurturer on some level,
Absolutely.
and you take Selwyn in your arms and you kind of stroke his head.
I
he,
do.
He cries like a little baby.
You
She
know,
pops my pimples.
I did.
She pops your pimples.
Yeah.
How are you still getting pimples?
You know what? You have nothing to talk about. If she pops your pimples, I don't want to hear no me because there ain't no other woman's
Nobody
gonna
gonna do that.
No,
She's
no,
got the nails.
Yes, she does. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know.
He requires
Why don't you
some
just
time.
get a facial for fuck's sake? Where you popping pimples?
Yeah.
Go
I
sit
gotta
down
do
for a
that.
facial. You know what?
I
I'm
don't
gonna,
know.
Do it, man, it's
I'm
the
gonna buy
best.
you a facial.
They're
You're
not
gonna come one day.
You know, they're
It's a
not
me thing. I don't get no facial.
Do it.
You know what I'm saying? I know your first time we heard about
So
a
the
facial.
thing is, you like the pampering of her popping your
He
pimples.
loves the pampering.
I know.
Right. He loves. Well, you say it almost like
I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it, right? Am I okay to ask your age? Is that
I'll be 40 in August.
you're 40? Wow,
good
you
age.
look. You definitely. I
39.
mean, you
Good age.
definitely. You look like you're in your definitely early 30s, if not
Really?
early.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
don't you
good.
think?
Good skin.
Well, there's two. What they say,
Skin.
black don't crack. That's what they say.
It don't.
I'm the
Got
old one.
good skin.
Well,
I'm the
you
old
look good
old
too,
one.
though. I mean,
Shit, considering
He
what
does.
he's been
yeah,
through.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
I
because
got
you,
gray hairs now, though.
who
my
gives
face
a
got gray
fuck? So
hairs.
do I. I mean,
You
who
got
cares?
hair at least.
Exactly.
A little bit. What's left of it?
So you were tremendously close with your mother.
Yes, I
And,
was.
and this is kind of like, even after she passed away, she probably is still a driving force in your life.
She is.
Do you feel a sense of,
Absolutely.
in other words, are there always reminders that he is driven by his mother?
Yeah, I do. I
Does
actually.
that bother you on some level?
No, I actually I go
Find
around.
it sweet and charming?
And I also say Stella's watching, so get it together. You know,
Right.
I always use little
does.
things to remind him
Right.
that his mother instilled some good things in him.
I get the sense that you're really, just by watching you talk and stuff like that, you're a stabilizing presence in Selwyn's life.
I let him do
Would you say
him.
that's true, Selwyn?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I let him do him. I don't.
She has a high.
I'm not
And
nagging.
you're not always on
Not
top
her.
of them,
Well,
do this,
yeah.
do that.
He already did. I'm not his CO. I don't want to be a new CO.
That's
he
it,
already
right.
did time.
Right.
That's
He
it,
doesn't need any time
exactly.
with me. Not that kind
But
of
she has a
time.
jealous point with it now. I mean,
Jealous point.
I mean, she has a
You
jealous
mean
side.
you're
to
not
her.
allowed to bring any woman home?
Oh, I'm not going to
There you
do that.
go.
I mean, I did bring a woman
What does
home.
that
She
mean,
knows
though?
it,
How does jealousy
Yeah.
manifest itself?
How does that?
I think when I go to New York,
Right.
right? I mean,
Yeah, but she lets you
it's
do
like
your
a
thing.
He has a complicated
it's-
life.
Are you territorial when he goes to New York?
No, I would
No.
just say I keep tabs on him because of things that are happening. When I
Wait
say
a minute.
tabs,
To keep tabs
let
is,
me tell
is
you
an
why.
unusual
No,
terminology.
because of his situation in the case, and I feel like he's a target sometimes. So I kind of like make sure that he's in a
Who do
good
you think is?
environment.
Why are you threatened by who? Who's gonna?
I mean,
who's gonna,
just the fact of his
who's gonna
case
prey on
in
him?
general. You know, like the
Target
people.
by who, though?
Maybe people that are in his hometown that knows his case and
Oh, I see. But you
people
don't go to
who-
Mount Vernon.
Do
Yeah,
it.
he does.
Oh, you do?
I go there with tinted windows.
Yeah.
Why do you feel the need to go back there?
I still have a lot of business I take care of there.
What kind
It's
of
like,
business?
you know, like I have my Social Security there.
Yeah, but Social
my
Security is a
P.O.
national
box.
thing. Don't they have a Social Security office in Philadelphia that you can take care of it there?
Yeah, but the transition, the transferring over, is one thing to another.
Is that the case? You have to transfer it over to a different Social
Yeah,
Security office?
and then my brothers, it's weird. I mean, it's really weird. Now,
You know
I got
what
friends.
I think
I got
Yeah,
friends there
we're touching
too. that
up
be
on some
telling me.
psychology there, where I think it's because,
know?
because I asked you a question and you were kind of like pausing, thinking like, you know, almost like, you know, yeah, Tom
You're
asked a
right.
quick question. Why the fuck am I going to Mount Vernon for? Like, in essence, like you don't need to go, but I think there's a part in you that you feel like you need to go
Childhood.
back and see the
Missing.
neighborhood.
Yeah, it's
and
that,
kinda-
you know what I'm saying?
you
Like,
Relive.
Missed it, man.
Yeah,
You
I
need to
know.
be around that world, and you need to see what the stores are doing and
Right.
your old haunts and stuff like that. But you don't go frequently, do you?
Well,
I
you
go
gotta
like
go.
what, every
Do
other
you?
week?
Yeah, you
Every
gotta
other
go.
week.
Yeah,
He goes
you gotta
frequent.
I do.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know nobody, I don't really know nobody in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's meeting people along the way.
When you go there, you meet people as well, or you just drive through?
Oh, when I go to Mount Vernon?
Yeah.
No, I go to people's houses and I see
Oh,
my
you
friends.
do?
I go see my friend Lance in Yonkers.
You do the get up like Jimmy here? You put the glasses and the hood on?
I just be behind.
I used to live in
He's
Yonkers.
behind the
No,
tent.
it's funny. I used to live in Yonkers. When he goes meet these people, does that bother you that he's going
No,
to meet
no.
them?
Like even with Lance, like he's like family. So
Okay. When you walk down the street, do people know who you are?
Ab-
I do that.
Absolutely.
It's been so exciting. People like gravitate to this case. So
Right.
this small town.
And
so
I'm like
everybody's
Jimmy
looking,
when I
even
go with
people that
him.
don't know
Shades
you.
on, like
Yeah.
Okay, my
Yeah.
face stands out. So when I gotta quit it, it's like, oh, that's Selwyn Ace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then don't forget, a lot of these people that's in my small town, I actually met while I was incarcerated.
Wow.
Within the county jail.
You mean other prisoners?
The other prisoners. So if they didn't know me.
How many fucking prisoners do they have in that town?
Oh, my jail carries.
I know, but they're all
20
roaming around. It seems like a town of prisoners.
4,900
a town of ex-cons.
people. It holds Yonkers, White Plains, Mount
Right.
Vernon,
Right.
North Shore, Pelham, Largemont, Scarsdale,
Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Oh, I know all these areas.
Right. So all these people getting in trouble are going into one jail system, and they got one newspaper. So in the course of that, while you're incarcerated, if they don't know you, they become to know you because your case is so high profile, and then you always constantly in the law library, and you're helping people that the word goes out here, goes out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you
Right.
come home, people say to you, yo, you're gonna beat the case, you're gonna get acquitted, yo, we're gonna be waiting on you. Waiting on me, like waiting on me for what? No, we're gonna put you in the trunk. But they smiling, the truck of cars, they smiling, but these guys are actually, it's actually a reality.
These are friends of the prosecutors?
No,
or
these
you?
are these are people within the jail. Now, these are what you call, what they say in the street, call them gangsters.
Right, but
or
if
they
you
call
were
wolves,
exonerated, though, why the
because there's
arrest?
benefits that come with exoneration, and that's being reported.
You're talking about the money?
Like Jeffrey Descovec.
Right.
Jeffrey Descovec is at a peace school, but look where he lives at.
He doesn't want
Why?
to go back into that town.
He can't go back.
Right. Yeah.
Because
but,
he
but,
became-
no, but
because
time
his
out, wait a
voluntary
minute.
benefits
I know,
bonded.
but Jeff went to his reunion and he was very
He
accepted.
went to his union, but he didn't go. He didn't go
And it
there
was
to
kind of
live.
heartwarming to hear
Right,
that.
but he didn't go there to live.
Right.
Because you got somewhat gangsters and wolves in his town.
Because he's a target, you're saying, because of the money. Because of his-
Exactly.
right.
Okay, so
Right.
he lives in an offset area.
Right.
Which
But if
I'm
they
not
put you
which I
in a
wouldn't
trunk, though,
disclose.
what is, in other words, you're talking about kidnapping.
Kidnapping.
Right.
They're going to kidnap you, and you're going to do ransom.
Of course.
Like Getty, like J.
Yeah,
Paul
but
Getty.
Tommy,
Of
this
course.
shit happens.
This
Don't
shit
think
happens.
this
No,
doesn't
I'm not,
happen. This
I'm not
happens,
taking
dude.
it away.
It's real.
You know,
This happens.
So this is what concerns Shelley.
Rightly
concerns
so.
her
No,
when,
well,
when I go to Mount Vernon.
it's a legitimate concern.
Right. So this is why I travel, and even like when I came to see you prior to our meeting now, Tom, it was you saw my vehicle that I was driving was actually tinted windows.
Right.
Okay, and this is how I travel in all my vehicles,
Right.
in tinted windows.
Right.
So you don't know what I'm coming
Carry a
in
piece
town
with you
in.
just in
No. You know, but
get
I
you
travel. I
sure you
travel.
could.
I try and I jump in and out. I don't spend no specific. Jimmy, I'll be honest. I don't spend no specific.
No.
A lot of time on the streets. I really don't.
Right.
So I jump
Well,
in
now-
one. I jump in. I jump out. I go handle my business. Jump in. Jump out.
Do you feel revenge from prosecutors and friends of prosecutors and friends of cops and stuff like that when you go back into town?
Man is not perfect, and people make mistakes.
Right.
That's one thing I've learned. The system is not perfect.
Right.
I understand that. Grudge-wise, they know not what they do.
They can't help themselves.
I think if they know the truth, to know the truth and to accept the truth is one thing, but to know the truth and not to accept it is a problem.
Right.
And that's the problem that I have.
There
When
must be cowboys
no.
in Mount Vernon that feel that way.
Yeah,
Right. Do you feel a sense of that?
I do.
Yeah. Right. And
I believe living with this, okay, is the ultimate violation to them. Not onto me, but onto them, that they actually had
Exactly.
to release a person that they knowingly knew that was that was innocent, but put up a fight. I think that's the problem they have. I think being in the community where I've come from, where I was raised at,
Right.
I totally believe wholeheartedly that me being a black African American man,
Right.
okay, and not of the Caucasian race, coming from what you say, the upscale family.
And there is
me-
racism in Mount Vernon?
Yes, there is.
Right.
I believe, holding back within feelings, I believe in totality that me coming from a middle town city or area, they didn't expect me to come back the way I did. They didn't expect me, because so many people of my nationality quit.
They feel
did.
you beat the system on some level.
Yes, they do.
Right.
But I didn't.
I
Well, you
wanna-
didn't beat the system.
No, you didn't beat the system in any way. You don't have to tell me that, but I'm
right,
just
but
saying.
if people want to look at it in society as me beating the system, yes, I did beat the system.
Right.
But I beat the system within the truth.
Right.
I didn't beat the system with a lie. I beat the system with the truth.
Well, I want to talk about the specifics because I think it's important because it sort of deals on some level with, because we discussed your childhood and we discussed the anger level that you're capable of.
It made me
right?
stronger.
It made you stronger.
made me stronger.
Anger made you stronger? Anger made you stronger?
Anger taught me to unclog, because within the prison
Well,
system,
wait a
me
minute,
being
time out
angry.
though. You said there was a guy 13 years in who said, stop carrying the stuff on
That's
your
right.
shoulders, take it off. And
Exactly
when you
right.
took the anger off,
The
you
doors
said
opened up.
things got better.
Exactly.
Right. So I just want to,
Anger comes out of emotions.
granted, yes. However, though, there is a difference between, or I'm saying there could be a difference between anger and emotion, because anger is, but emotion could be letting go too. You can
Right.
cry, that's emotion.
That is so.
Right. So, you know,
Well, you
I
have
just want
every right to be angry.
Right.
You're wrongly
I'm not-
incarcerated.
Did I say that? Did I
No,
say
I'm
he doesn't
not
have a right to be
saying-
angry?
I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying you have a right to feel the way you feel.
Right.
If you were wrongly incarcerated for X amount of time, any amount of time, you have the God-given right to be angry as hell
Right.
over what you went through.
I'm trying to paint a picture here, okay? You were very close with your mom, right?
Right.
And I'm looking at this thing now also from those cowboys' perspective.
Keep in mind, it's a double lifestyle now.
What do you mean?
It's a double standard and a double lifestyle live. Okay?
What do you mean a double
I
lifestyle?
live, my mother instilled certain things within me,
Right,
okay? Rightful things.
right,
Okay, even though she went a little overboard with the church situations.
Right.
But she taught me morals and principles.
right.
Now there's a flip side to this now. Okay, the flip side is that I also want to be outside of that. I never knew what it was like to live outside the boundaries of my household. Okay, so that's the flip side. So that's where
That's interesting.
the two fundamentals of life come in, where they clash at.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we already established that your mother was, can we say everything to you? I mean, she
was.
meant the world to you, right? The case is, and I'm looking at it again from an outsider's perspective, the case was generally that they assumed that you committed the murders because your mother, I mean, that's a pretty good case. Your mother was sexually assaulted by the guy that was murdered. This guy,
True.
Harris is his name?
Yes, it is.
Harris. When you learned that your mom was sexually assaulted by this guy, did revenge cross your mind?
No.
Your mom got sexually assaulted, and you didn't think about doing anything?
I just want to preface the conversation by saying I'm on your side. I'm
He's
not.
going to give it up raw.
We're just.
That's
Yeah,
the
no, that's what we're
interesting
here
part
for.
about him.
You know what's that say again?
I said he's going to give it up to you raw. That's
No,
the
no, but
interesting.
I don't want you
love
to. In other words, within this conversation, I don't want you to misconstrue that I'm trying to find out if you're guilty. I know
No,
you're
no,
not
no,
guilty.
no, no. I'm
In other
not
words,
worried about
because we
that.
don't
I'm
know
not
each other
concerned with
that well.
Right. No, it's okay.
We like each other,
my
but I
life
just-
is open. My life is open book. I don't have nothing to hide.
Okay, we're just
I
good.
don't have
good.
skeletons in my closet.
No,
Jimmy.
I know that, but I'm,
Okay. All right.
but I'm just saying, from my
listen, I'm
perspective,
truthful,
in no
though.
way, shape, or form, I don't want you to think, oh, is Tom trying to frame me here? That's not the case. All right? I'm just saying.
You can't be trying me anyway.
I need.
You know what I'm saying? So it's,
The point I'm trying to make is that naturally it would be natural for a prosecutor to think this way, that, oh, you know what? Yeah, of course. I mean, this guy sexually assaulted his mother. Why wouldn't this guy want to go out and seek revenge?
Oh, I think anyone would.
Because they already knew about the ice pick, and they knew that you have tendencies of anger. So naturally, on some level, can we say that the prosecution on some level, although they fucked up the case royally, there's a lot of weird things that happen, and absurd things.
very so.
Can we say that that is a natural? It's a logical thing for a prosecution to feel that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But on the psychological aspect of it, if you evaluate somebody, right, in a course of time, right,
Right.
you can't evaluate nobody
Granted.
and know them in 5 minutes.
Right.
And this is what was going on with the
Can't make
prosecution.
assumptions
You
when it
can't
comes
make
to
assumptions
investigations.
investigations.
Yeah,
You
you
can't
gotta
that.
do a thorough
Right.
investigation
And that's
to
what's
figure it
missing
out.
in this case.
I agree.
In this
I
matter.
agree. I agree.
But
Yes.
I only knew about the sexual molestation aspect when I got arrested February 15th of 2001.
See, that's the difference. That's why now it makes sense.
Prior to the 90s, prior to the incident
did you
occurring
find that out?
in 1996.
Right.
Okay, I had no knowledge at all.
How'd you find
that this
out?
incident, I found out the day of my arrest.
Who
when
told
I came
you?
to the police.
The
is what
police.
told me. When I came to New York.
Right.
And when I came to New York in 2001.
I know, but how can we trust the police, though? Because we're going way into your case now.
Right.
But considering that you said to me on the last show that you think there's a possibility that it was a frame-up and the police actually did the murder, so they were covering
Right,
up for
we believe
themselves.
that.
How do you trust the police to know? Because that could have been the story they made up.
Right. When I got arrested, the phone call verified that.
Who called you?
No, nobody called me. I called them.
Right, you
I
called
called
the
my
cops.
mother, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you called your mother?
Yes, I
Oh,
called
oh,
mother.
oh.
So to get verification
she
of what they
verified.
were saying
Right.
is what brought it about. Because when I got arrested, Tom,
Yeah.
quote, I have never seen any newspaper articles. I have never seen any TV screens about these murders. I was actually in North Carolina at the time, in
Right.
'96.
How did they know that his mom was sexually assaulted?
How did they know?
Did your mom file a report?
My mom filed, from my understanding, within the duration of me being incarcerated, in the interrogations, is when I found out that these officers were actually the ones that was on the crime scene, and they went to the police department and filed a report along with my mother about my mother being sexually molested.
Along with your mother?
Yeah, my mother called the cops on Archie Harris. From my understanding, that she was sexually molested. These officers helped her file.
Same cops that
Same
you
cops.
think?
The same cops that were on the crime scene are the same cops that were on the crime scene.
And your
Yes.
mom told them that she was sexual?
Yes.
Years prior?
No, in '96. Now, logic dictates itself. Okay, if you hypothetically killed 2 people along with a dog, wiped out everything in the house, okay, Mount Vernon and Eastchester is approximately 1.5 miles apart in distance-wise from each other. Okay, now you being not played a race game, but you being black with no prior experience, okay, in how to hide killings or how to go about killing people. Evidently, if you had that kind of experience, you'd do a very good job if you was trained in that field. Me coming from the lower end of Mount Vernon, non-suburbs, okay, killing 2 people, and then coming back, going to North Carolina, and then coming back is highly illogical, knowing that they didn't find a person for these murders.
Well,
Why
you know-
would you come back to the town 5 years later?
Were
They
you a
found-
subject of the investigation
Not at all.
from the get-go?
Not at all.
Right. Well,
Not at
obviously,
all.
because it was 5 years later. I mean, he
No,
couldn't-
but
No.
I'm just saying.
From
I
the
mean,
very
because his
beginning,
mom
no.
and then the murder happened in '96.
Right. Which he
So-
raises a good question, because why weren't you? In other words, if the cops knew
Only because the
that-
phone call was made, I
Right.
thought.
If the cops knew that this guy sexually assaulted your mom, you should have been
A
subject
suspect a
to
long
an
time ago.
investigation
That would've been the first
immediately.
person I'm looking at.
Nobody, my friend, was subject of raising any eyebrows in this case.
Now that
But the
doesn't make
anonymous
sense.
phone
Well,
call.
But
look, there's a
I'm
lot of things
saying,
that
right.
don't make
I'm just saying,
sense, and I
I'm
think we
just
should go into the absurdities of the case. I mean, again, it's worth rehashing. So the interrogation, you said something interesting. I repeat it again. Hypnotized, and so
Right.
you there was no signing of the confession, right?
No.
But they had you on videotape confessing to the crime.
Only the last 45 minutes of it.
Right, because did you feel like your mind was just totally, you were in a fog?
I felt like I was in another state of mind.
The hypnotizing thing is interesting because as I was thinking about your case and other cases as well with the false confessions, I wonder if cops on some level, particularly the ones, that do these
I believe so.
interrogations, I wonder if they're trained on some level to do these. Now again, that's a far-fetched conspiracy.
I believe
Because they're not supposed to do that.
Right.
In other words, there's nothing morally that would say that's allowed.
I believe verbally that's what happened to me.
Right.
Because when I came into that interrogation room, I was actually there. I knew where I was at. I wasn't under the influence of any drugs.
I was going to ask you
I wasn't
that.
influenced of anything.
Right.
When I walked in there, and I was sitting there under the influence of being arrested for a bogus order of protection.
Right.
Okay. And in the course of these cops coming in, looking down at me, and started telling me about what occurred in '96 based
Right.
upon my mother working with them.
Right. You
working
weren't doing
with-
drugs at the time,
No,
were you?
not
Right,
at all.
but you did say to me though, when you were in the interrogation, and they kept on saying you did it.
Right.
You did say to me, what the fuck? Did I do
Right,
drugs?
because
Did I
what
do-"
happened, that's
Were
true.
you doing
That's true.
drugs
No.
in '96?
No.
You weren't.
No, I
So
was,
you-
doing, I was in '96. I was in North Carolina.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm
Okay.
asking him. If you
Right.
did drugs during when the murder when the
No.
murder was committed.
No, no.
But you were living in North Carolina in '96. You weren't even in the state.
No, I wasn't in the state at all.
Okay, so that's another absurdity of the case. Is that I mean, right there. For me, you're innocent because you had over 20 alibis. You had
Right.
over 20 people
Right.
saying you were in North Carolina.
Exactly.
So
Court,
how does a
right?
cop make the
Including the
deduction?
judge.
How does he say? Any rational person, how do they come up with? I mean, that to
They
me.
believe the cops are lying. Okay, they believe that somehow, some way, I manipulated the police. I knew them.
You managed to
I-
manipulate 20 people.
Thank
You're
you.
that good.
Thank you.
You're that
Thank
good.
you. And I had to pay them off.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Which is totally preposterous.
Right. Hey, you said what was it? 24? I think it was like 24.
It was like
people?
24 witnesses. yes.
24 witnesses.
Who said you were down there?
No,
with
You
down
them,
managed to
or-
pay them off, or you
Yeah, that's
managed to? Well, you're pretty good at
That's a
good
convincing
trick.
people. There's no doubt about it. You got power of persuasion.
Terrible. In interrogation, right, when I was sitting there, I went there with a thought of mine trying to find out what was this all about? Why am I here? That was my initial being there. Like, what are you talking about? What is this about? Why am I here?
Right.
You know, but I wasn't adamant about it because I thought that I was only there for an interrogation, for order of protection.
Right.
Okay, that's initially what I thought I was there for until these 3 detectives came in. Once they came in, right, they start looking at me like a dog would look at a stranger, like side by side. Started asking, you Stella Daisy's son? Pearl is your aunt? Selwyn Daisy's your brother?
You're looking at you in a
So I'm
cynical
looking-
way.
How long
You're
was the
skeptical.
actual interrogation from
Seven
beginning?
hours.
But 45 minutes of it was
only
fake.
recorded.
The tail
Not
end
the
of-
whole,
the tail end of
right,
it.
not the whole, not,
Right.
or if there was prior to it,
It wasn't
that's
taped.
gone.
As I'm sitting there and they're going over this story with me about what occurred in this investigation and what they found on the crime scene, they was telling me that I would have did the same thing if that happened to my mother. So I'm looking like, what are you talking about? So they gave me a glass of water, a pizza, right?
They're giving you coffee.
No coffee.
coffee.
But at that point, honestly,
Was the pizza good?
I can't even remember. It was dry. I know that much. Okay, but
There's dry pizza
It was
they
dry
gave you.
pizza,
Those
but-
sons of bitches.
Leftovers
I mean, I
from
was
their
getting-
lunch.
7.5 hours. They couldn't give him a good slice
I
of
tell
pizza.
you, I was getting hit from left to right to middle.
Right.
Okay, by different officers saying, different detectives that were specially trained,
Right.
whatever field they were in at the time, in
Right.
different segments of law enforcement.
Right.
I was being hit from left to right and from the middle. the hours, not eating a real meal. I was actually under medication at the time because I have lupus, and I was under a substantial amount of prednisone at the time, and a substantial amount
Do you still
of
have
Plaquenil.
lupus
Yes,
now?
I do.
Wow.
And I was
didn't know
under
that.
Plaquenil and taking folic acid, vitamin B12 prior to this arrest.
Wow.
Okay, so I was actually like ODing myself because the heat plays a role with me terribly in the sun. It drains me. So being weak, what I did, I actually shocked myself. I OD'd myself. So maybe this played a role in the interrogation because by me being overly medicated, right? The things that they were saying to me was starting to, I would hear it
Interesting.
straightforwardly. I would hear it straightforwardly, but in the same token, it became like
Everything
like
is blurry.
water. It's like
Feeding it to
blurry,
you.
like blurry. It's
Right.
like garble.
This
So-
is a perfect testimony for we should not have 7 or 8 or 9 hours of interrogation.
right.
You're making the perfect testimony because in your case now you're telling me lupus.
Right, and they knew this.
Oh, they knew you.
They
were-
knew I had
you
lupus.
had lupus. Well,
But in the course time, when I'm hearing this, right, it was like they put me under the guise
Right.
of questioning myself.
Right.
To the point of, could I have done this,
right.
or and not knowing I'd done this, could I have blacked out?
And you started second guessing yourself.
I did.
Right. And
I
you
truly
told
did.
me the irony of it is that you said to me before this happened to you, if you would hear about somebody doing false confessions, you would believe, oh, come on, that's horseshit. They're guilty.
Right.
So by default, you thought people were guilty. There are no
Until- until-
wrongful convictions.
until it
You
happened to
didn't
me.
buy into that stuff.
Right, until it happened to me.
And that's the ultimate irony, I think.
I truly believe that they verbally hypnotized me.
Okay, now,
Made me second guess myself.
when you listen to it, I would imagine anybody watching out there, a viewer, these things in the case, they're so preposterous. They're so out there. The fact that they bought this girl that you went out with for a month and a half,
Shirley Mayu.
right? The fact that they bought her a house,
Right.
okay? Now, by default, when I hear that, I think, oh, come on, Selwyn, they bought her a house?
They bought her a house.
Now, the prosecution team bought her a house?
Yes.
I would imagine a house, even a cheap house in Mount Vernon, $100,000. They shelled out $100,000 for a house. I mean, maybe more. I don't know. You understand the absurdity of that statement?
The relentless
To
thought.
solve this case.
Exactly.
That what
to solve this case. The cry
Yeah.
out. The
Because of who this
Eastchester,
guy was?
Who this guy was. The prominent area this man lived at.
Right.
The community that he lived around.
They wanted someone.
They
They,
needed-
wanted
they
somebody.
needed
They
a
needed
fall guy.
somebody to go.
They needed somebody. And
No,
I
buying
think
Shirley
Shirley
Mayu
Mayu
was
I
was helping.
understand that, but where does the money come from? Because I want to get into not
The-
just the house, but then
the-
they came and they offered you $7 and $9
Right.
million bucks.
The district
So-
attorney is the only organization in the state of New York that has unlimited access to funds. They have more funds than the Bar Association.
You
to
know
work
this
with.
for a fact.
This is a fact.
All right.
Okay.
Now, here's the deal. I spoke to another prosecutor, a former prosecutor,
Mm-hmm.
and he said to me point blank, he's not buying that story, specifically about the one where they went in when you were in prison and they offered you $7 million bucks. Now, $7 million is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, I'm not saying it's true or it's not, but on the flip side, though, you stop and you think, wow, where does somebody come up with seven? In other words, no matter how much of a slush fund you have, all right, prosecutors, the DA, can come up with $7 million out of their back pocket.
Right.
In other words, that is a far-fetched idea.
How could it be a far-fetched idea? If it was a far-fetched idea, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now.
No, but you're sitting here with me because of Glenn Garber and the wonderful
I'm
work that he did.
I'm sitting here with you because of Glenn Garber as being my attorney. I'm releasing me out of the prison system.
Right.
Okay, that's helping get me exonerated.
Right.
But if I would have took the deal with you, I would not be sitting here with you today. 'Cause
No,
I would
granted.
I would still been exonerated.
Right.
Okay, I would still been exonerated if I would have took the deal. My slate would have been written, would have been clean, but there would have been
A guilty.
No, there would have been
Felony.
It would have been a felony.
Right.
But in the same token, I would never be able to speak about this on national TV,
No,
as well as
granted.
make a book deal behind it.
Right.
That would have been a contracted act based upon the agreement that would have been made with the $7 million.
Right.
Okay, and then would have gave me an abandonment from Westchester County.
How much time have you done to the point of when they offered you the $7 million?
The first
13 years.
offer
no?
was 13. No, it
No,
was
halfway through,
10.
no?
it was 10.
10 years.
It was 10.
Make sure everyone understands this. You said no
Because
to
I-
getting out
No, it was 7,
Right.
and then you
and
get 10
no
more.
to 7. So I'm going to sit in prison, not get the $7 million, I'm going to stay here.
Right.
Correct?
It wasn't about the money. It was
I'm
not
hearing you.
about the money
I'm
at all.
hearing you.
And
Then
again, I
2
take
years
my hat
later,
off to
It
him.
was
He
not
had,
about the
he had
money.
a strong sense of integrity to say, I am
Cool, I was-
innocent, and
I
I'm
s-
not going to sign a letter that says I'm
Right.
guilty, period. End of story.
Hold
How
on.
much-
Jimmy,
how much
I
money
spent,
is-
quote Jimmy, you got to keep in mind, my family, my mother spent over $150,000 on my education. I was a cancer renal nurse. It wasn't
Earlier.
about the money. I was making approximately $84,000.
No, I get it. But it's still,
per year
it's still,
at that
so
point in time.
2 years later, they come back at you and say, we'll give you $9 million and your freedom.
Right,
2 years later.
right.
Again, it hinges on him saying I'm guilty. He just doesn't want to say he's guilty.
You're looking at a life, and I don't even know what your sentence was. What was it? Double
It was
homicide?
double
50
homicide.
years,
50
25
years,
to
25 to life, but a consecutive, two 25 to
Two
life
25
sentences.
consecutive terms each.
Right.
Each. Okay.
Right.
To me, it like you said it. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like your prior. It doesn't sound. Something doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right, but it's
where you're
enough to
offering
bring.
me $9 million
Right.
and my freedom instead of doing the 50 years, and I get $9 million in my pocket, and me saying, I'm not taking it.
Look,
I'm going to
but
sit
here's-
here. I'm
here's-
just telling you. That's how I see it.
I understand what you're saying, but this is what it hinges on. Let's just simplify it and move on.
I'll
okay?
simplify it for you better for you, Tom.
Go ahead.
You're looking at Westchester County, okay? Doing the wrongful conviction. That's what the names in the highlights, okay? Then you're also looking at the aspect of that you got a person that's not going to give up. That has already, at that point in time, has already won 2 appellate division appeals, okay? So your case is dwindling down. I'm tired of being in jail. He's won 2 appeals. He's going to get out. He's going to win. You can foresee this, okay? There's DNA that doesn't match it. There's DNA that belongs to somebody else. You have failed to
Prove
to
your case.
to access it. All right, the case is really done. You can't prove. You can't put me in New York State. These are all different elements that's being
Right,
used.
I
So
gotcha.
you're seeing being a prosecutor, a head prosecutor. You're looking at send him an offer because he's a thorn. He's not going to stop.
No, I would have
Okay.
taken the money and I would have been out of
You
there
would-
the next
you-
day.
you would-
That's what I would have
oh,
done.
me too.
I would have
Hold it.
taken the money and I would have
Hold it,
split.
hold it, hold
I'm
it.
Show me
done.
the paper. Where do I
Where do
sign?
I
Hold it,
sign? I
hold
don't
it.
have to come back to
Hold it.
Westchester. I
You
don't
would
want to
take-
come
you
back
would
to
take the
No,
money.
but here's the deal, though.
You would
We
take
have
the
less
money.
integrity
No,
than
no,
Selwyn
you would
has.
take the
I'm
money.
out the door.
Right,
I'm
you would
out
take
the
the
door.
money
I'm
and-
out the door on the $7 million. The $9
Understandable.
million ain't even reaching me.
Understandable.
door with
And
$2
don't
million.
think, don't think for 1 minute that it wasn't hard for me because I got taunted within the prison system for not taking that.
Were you respected as well?
I was respected, but I was also being tormented at the same time. People
Right.
tell me, "Oh, you supposed to
Because
take the
everyone
money."
else who's
Okay?
doing time is like,
You
no,
know?
no disrespect, you fucking idiot.
Right.
Right.
Give me the fucking money and let
Right.
me walk out the door.
Right.
What are you talking
Right.
about?
Right.
But look what I have today. If
No, no, I
if
understand.
If
No,
I'd
no.
have took that, right, for the rest of the duration of my life, I'd have been walked around as being a target. When I say a target, oh, that's that murderer. Why? How can I explain to you or to anybody that I didn't kill these people and why I've done this? Because the average person that has anything, like Tom said, has integrity and has
Not just integrity, a very strong sense of integrity.
right.
I have
a
integrity
fact of
as well.
knowing that you didn't do something.
But you
how
gotta
can
balance-
you live? How can you live with yourself because somebody said that you did something? Jimmy,
I don't
listen,
know.
Jimmy,
I
follow
hear
me.
you.
Jimmy, follow
I-
what
go
I'm saying
on.
to you. How can you live with if somebody is convicting you and you have to get up in front of the whole world and admit that you committed this crime when you truly didn't do it, and you just worrying about the money.
Well, it's not
aspect
even
of it,
the money.
but the
it's
money,
freedom.
right?
It's-
the
it's
freedom.
the freedom.
No, no, but
there is no
yeah, but
freedom.
the
You're really not free.
You're
No,
not
but
free.
here's the deal.
But
The flip side
Not
of that
being
is.
in prison, there's a freedom to not
Tom,
being in prison.
Tom,
now,
you are
I'm telling you,
incarcerated.
Jimmy, never mistake me for
Still be
him.
incarcerated out here.
Jimmy, you are incarcerated.
You would be
within
mentally
out here.
incarcerated
I'm
out
mentally
here.
Who's going to hire me? Who's going to give me a job, Jimmy?
With $9 million, you
Jimmy,
don't
listen
need a
to me. Yes,
job.
you do.
No, but
because
here's the
look, when
deal.
you
The
finish
one
paying
thing
out
is
your
this.
lawyers and you
Selwyn, can I
buying
just
little
say something?
toys, and everything, you have nothing, Jimmy. Jimmy, you have nothing.
Listen, I'm hearing you. I'm saying, I'm giving you a
Jimmy,
point of view.
In
No,
today's
but
society,
what you don't understand is he has to live for the rest of
I
his
got
life
it.
upset
I
that
got
I
it.
signed
I
the
got
fact
it.
that I was
Tommy,
guilty
I
and he's
got
not.
it.
And then you.
So
I
what
get
he's
it.
saying on
There's
some,
no-
no, but you don't get.
I get it.
Jimmy,
Let me
there's
just.
no amount of money. I sleep in peace.
I get it.
That's right.
I sleep every
Because-
night with my wife every night, and I don't cry at night.
Right,
I
because
might
you
cry
know
on my
what?
bed,
If
look
you
out the
did s-
window
If you
every now and then.
Selwyn, if you sign that piece of paper, essentially you would still be incarcerated. The
Of
truth would
course.
still be incarcerated in your mind.
Yep.
Of course. And
I
these
get
people
it.
have settled a case or somebody's back that's innocent, and they can live with that.
Right.
But how can you live with that?
How many appellate courts did you go through?
5.
And
Five, but
Five
10 different
appeals.
panels
I
because
got
they
you.
kept on coming
10
back at
panels.
Then
us.
the
I
true
got
killers
you.
will still be out
And
there.
the 2 killers still be out to kill again.
Okay.
Your legal aid lawyer claiming he conducted the case if he's guilty,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you got this guy. Thank God you got him disbarred. The stenographer.
True.
Okay, now again,
Which again,
I look at you and I say, wow, that's such a fuck. Is Selwyn telling me the real deal there? No, because it's crazy. It's
I read
absurd.
through
Nobody believes it.
25,000 pages, maybe more.
Right. If we
has.
talk to Glenn
Yes, she has.
Garber, though, he's going to corroborate
I know
that. He's
those.
going to
Yes,
say,
he will.
yes, it was the case.
yes. Glenn Garber and my attorneys, the Paul Rice, Rifkin, Walton, and Gaston firm, as well as Duran, Jeanette, and McCree, which is another firm, and EXI, which is Exoneration Division, all were a part of my team of attorneys. I had over 8 attorneys, and probably numerous, I would say probably numerous underpin supporters and everything in this case. When they hear what you say, they said the same thing when they
Right.
took on the case.
Right.
They could not believe this could not be at Selwyn. You're psychologically and say you have to listen to me.
Right.
Okay. What goes on in Manhattan, okay, under your jurisdiction does not go on here. This is a separate entity here.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
They
And I've
conduct
heard
things-
that from others
Right. They
that
conduct things the way they want to conduct
Up
them.
there is worse than
Right, it
down
is. It
Manhattan.
is worse.
It is, anytime
so
you get
I
outside.
brought on, okay, with my New York attorneys, which are the EXI, Glenn Garber, and Roberto Frenzy from the Paul Rice, Rifkin, and Walton Gaston firm, okay, when they were all in conjunction together. They could not understand what I was saying to them was so until I made a conscious decision to make you understand what's happening here, okay? Because they were under the guise of the way they operate in Manhattan is the way they operate in Westchester County.
Right.
It's not. I brought on Duran, Jeanette, and McCreary, which was Brian McCreary, as an offset to help them out, to make them understand what's going on, because Mr. McCreary works within the Westchester system as a helpmate. You understand?
Yeah.
So
he enlightened them.
how did
The
this
Manhattan-
all come about? Just
I
real
built
quick, in
them.
case
I built
somebody
them.
else is looking to do this. but
I studied what other people did. But before I go there, let me explain to you. I brought Brian McCreary on, okay, to show them that this is what really goes on with him, because you have worked within Westchester County as a lawyer for over 40 years. So who will know even better?
Right.
Okay, so he helped Glenn Garber and Roberto Frenzy from both organizations to see that this is a reality. And behind closed doors, Glenn Garber and Roberto Frenzy stated to me, wow, this is incredible. We had never seen
I
nothing
mean,
like
that's a
this.
systemic problem. That's a,
Okay.
that's a conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
That's not like
All the way
one or two
down.
All the way
guys.
down.
All the way
down
down.
to the stenographer.
Yes.
Has there been any kind of repercussions for the stenographer?
No.
No.
is she still working?
I could not tell you at this point in time because of the duration of the trials.
And this is where you gain a lot of validity to what you say, because after a while you couldn't even get a case. Nobody would want it. Your case
Nobody-
became
no.
so toxic
Right. None of
that
the
nobody would want to go near it.
Right,
And
none of-
obviously, that says to me, from a layman's perspective, it says that this guy is innocent,
Right.
because that's the reason why nobody wants to go near it, because they don't want that
Right.
they don't want to have that on their conscience.
Fenton County Jail, 4 years, right?
Exactly, 4 years. I spent
why
in
did
county
the
jail.
judge see any of this?
Lester Adler.
Who
Lester Adler
sent
was,
this to
was I'm glad you said, Judy. I'm telling you right now. Lester Adler was my beginning judge. Okay, Christopher Chimp, the lawyer that had got this bar, that had this bar years later, he actually lied to Lester Adler, which was the reigning judge at the time, that actually convicted me, that served me the 50 years to life running consecutive. He called me a monster in the courtroom, and I stood up and I said, I'm not a monster, you're a monster. Mom, get the attorneys, okay? I'll be back. That was my famous words, I'll be back. They didn't think I was gonna come back. We went to Lester Adler after the truth was starting to bounty out, to come down to the truth, and asked Lester Adler, because he was actually the last standing case to move up to Supreme Judge in my case. I made him, okay? My case propelled him to the next level. So we went to him, my attorneys went to him and said, look, you was lied to, all right? You was lied to. We want to tell you what the truth is about Selwyn. We want you to take back his case. In this conversation that my lawyers had with the presiding judge prior, okay, Lester Adler, he stated to my attorneys, I'm not taking that case back.
I know it.
Okay? He said, whatever happened, happened. I want nothing to do with that case, okay? I drive a Bentley and I live in a big house. I'm not gonna be demoted down to take that case back. Look where I'm at right now. I left my case of it.
Right.
Okay? And that was the end of it. And I went from judge to judge after that. Okay? Then it came to a point when the judges in Mount Vernon, in Westchester County, saw this case for itself, was on the outside looking at this case, and that the case was actually coming around the curve to them. And they said, no, I don't want to touch that case, because they knew what was going to happen. So I finally had one judge, even Judge Haltman from the Bronx came up and sat on this case, because nobody wanted to take this case after I sat in the jail for a year and a half to 2 years waiting to go to trial on this case. Judge Haltman took the case, and he reigned in the case on my behalf in certain aspects of it. Okay, then they released him. Now after that, I sat in the jail for another 2 years waiting for another judge to take it on. And no judges would take on my case because they knew just about what the outcome of it was. It was too much. That's when I got Judge Barbara Zambelli, who stood on the case, and she was leaving the bench.
There you go.
And she looked at the case for what it was, and she ruled, and she ruled, and she ruled. And she gave me a fair trial, and I was acquitted.
Amen. You know, it's really weird. I ask this all the exonerees I meet. You believe in God?
I do.
We went through so many absurdities. Was God on vacation throughout all this? Where was he? In other words, how do you reconcile that? I know you believe in God, and I'm not saying that there is no God. I'm just saying I just don't know. I don't know. I never seen any living proof. So
you're actually looking at a living proof of a godly person.
I understand that, but during all the craziness, where was
Because
God?
God was there. He kept me from being stabbed. He kept me from being broken up in jail by officers.
He allowed you to go to prison.
Right. The reason why I went to prison is not because of the crime that was committed, not because of the murders, not because of my mother being raped.
Right.
It was because of disobedience.
Right.
Disobedience put me in jail.
What do you mean by that?
Disobedience put me in jail because growing up in a faithful house, under the religion aspect, you're
Oh,
calling
that's a
backslider.
heavy trip, man. That is a
that's
heavy trip.
I think you got to get that out of your brain,
No.
dude.
Yeah, I think you got to get that out of your brain.
No.
Do you agree?
I do.
No.
Yeah, no, you got to
No,
get
no.
that
You
out of
agree
your
with
brain,
him?
man.
I do.
Jimmy,
You agree with him?
It's just unfortunate the way it folded out, but
Tom,
the
let me tell you-
Yeah, but
disobedience.
you take it from a religious perspective, though.
Tom,
I mean-
Tom, let me reiterate
I
something.
want to say something real quick. Just hold that thought. Okay. Because, I had a conversation with another exoneree, and they said that, God works in mysterious ways,
Which he
right?
does.
We heard that many times over. And they said that there's a reason why, and God put me there so I can help others when I get out.
That's true too.
Do you feel that there was a reason for that? So now but on the flip side, you're not helping anybody.
No, you're saying.
You want to take the 50 million and go to the Bahamas and have a good time.
No.
Which you're rightly
No.
so. You
I'm
should
right
do
with
it.
that.
It
No,
doesn't matter.
and
You
I'm not
should do
blaming
it.
you for that. I get
Right.
that too. I understand.
deserve
I'm just
it.
saying, are you going to, because Derek Hamilton, you know his story,
Right.
jailhouse lawyer,
Right.
Jeffrey Deskovic, all the wonderful things he's doing?
I believe that God works for people in all different manners, in all different ways. But in my situation, okay, I had no help. See, my mother was doing everything, okay? She was getting witnesses, but nobody was listening.
Right.
Nobody was listening. All these people I had that was on my side that knew the truth, okay, the system was not listening. I personally put my faith in man. Oh, he's going to get me out. Oh, they're going to see the light. They're going to wake up. I'm telling you, I put my faith in man.
Here's the deal.
But-
There's a fundamental problem with what you just said. Again, I'm not.
The Bible's in.
I haven't read the whole Bible, but I
Right,
haven't
the
read
Bible
hardly
states-
any of the
the
Bible.
Bible
but
states that-
but God is supposed to be a forgiving God.
Right,
But you're under the notion that He put you in there because of all the shit that happened as a child. You carry that guilt.
disobedience.
Disobedience, right. So that's a heavy-duty punishment for
Of course.
disobedience. I mean, Jimmy
When you
was
become-
disobedient on some level.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's
he
not.
didn't have
they
such a harsh punishment. If
mean,
there is a
just like-
God.
just
But look
like-
at the
Yeah,
law
but no,
that's just
I
passed.
did.
That's
actually.
the reward.
I
Right.
did. I had a
Oh,
harsher-
stop it, please. You went to a
I'm talking
camp.
about cancer, you
Oh,
schmo.
cancer. Okay, I thought you were
Look
talking
at
about the
the
1 year
pill-
you went into the
no,
minimum
look.
security.
He paid
Look
the
at-
price, but
look
now that law that was just passed,
Right. Look at the
that's
penalties
reward,
that people
unfortunately.
pay. Look at the penalties earthly, okay, that we pay. Okay. Look at the prices that we pay. People lose family members behind the wrongs that they do. People get in trouble in the streets, and their families pay for it. Okay.
Right.
But there are-
you may not reap what you sow, but there is a price to be paid.
But there
Right.
are bad things
Right.
that happen to good people.
Right. But
Right?
there is a reward.
There are good things that happen to bad people.
There is in the
There
faith.
are.
Tons
There
of them.
are.
We see
with
it
no
every day.
doubt.
How's it go? In faith, how you believe in faith? Things that's not seen are brought to you. How's it go?
Yeah, like faith is just believing in the unseen.
I'm believing in the unseen.
Right.
Now, with me in this situation, okay, I always believed in God. I've been raised up to believe in God.
Right.
Okay. And I turned my back. Honestly, I turned my back. I stopped believing in that. Okay.
You turn your back.
I became a rejecter.
When you rejected God, did suicide fall into the equation?
That thoughts was raised. Yes, it was.
Right, but how far along the lines were you? Because some
I
people,
would say- I
were
would
you
say
were
right
in
on-
the planning stages.
I was in the I was in the planning
You
stage.
never actually tried.
No.
Did you take a sheet and try to hang yourself?
No.
It was in your thoughts.
It was in my
Question for
thoughts.
you.
It's in your thoughts.
When you thought about
Real quick,
killing
hold on.
yourself,
How frequent were those thoughts?
I had a,
Did they
I had a-
hound you
I-
and haunt you every day?
I had those thoughts numerous times. It wouldn't hound me, but it was raised.
Is that when you turn
Because
your
I
back
became
on God?
tired. Yeah.
at
That's
what
what it was.
was it
Right.
after you got busted?
When I got arrested, I was like, how could this be happening at first?
And is that when it
The
started?
feeling of depression
Because that's when it started with me.
Yeah, the feeling of depression
You
and
were suicidal when
Yeah.
you were in there?
Yeah.
No, before. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
I see.
started, It started at the beginning. At the beginning, like, how am I gonna get out of this one?
That's
You know what I'm saying? Are they going to come get me?
Right. So there's a sense of hopelessness,
that's
came
what
to the street.
happens.
About a year, every year, believing and thinking and assuming
Right.
that they were going to wake up and they were going to come get me.
Right.
Okay. When I saw I didn't have no attorneys, when I saw I didn't have no help,
Right.
that's when the feeling of hopelessness actually started to settle in. Okay. But just by the grace of God, that I actually had people that was on my side that knew me,
Right.
that kept me from visiting
Right.
those pills
Right.
to the fullest degree.
Right.
Because when I felt like I wanted to take them, it was like somebody came right into my cell, like, yo, cell, what's going on? How you doing?
Sure.
Da, da, da. Always altered my thoughts.
Right. Well,
Or take me to
you
the
were a
yard
little-
and play baseball, or take me to the yard and lift some weights. So if that didn't happen,
Right.
I wouldn't be sitting here with
So
you right
when
now.
you never got out on bail?
Never.
So you went
Never gave me
from
a pill
that
bail.
investigation room in?
Yes.
Yep.
So you never got out after
No.
that?
I
Okay,
got
so
appealed.
here's
I
the
got
deal.
appealed about 14 years later.
Jeff, very different person than you are, obviously. I mean, the upbringing. He went in at 16 or 17. You went in when you were a lot older, and you're a little bit of a badass. So that sort of plays on some level. If we're going to judge by the ice pick, that
I don't
plays
think
on.
you could judge the whole guy's life by an ice
I'm not
pick.
judging him.
but
I'm
you-
just saying he's
you
a
know,
little bit of a. He's in other words, other people.
But it's
wouldn't,
the environment
I'm a
you're
misdemeanor.
in, man.
All right, let's not veer. We
Go,
got
go,
15
go,
fucking
go,
minutes,
go,
all right?
go.
All right.
Sorry, go.
So when you walked in, at some point you sort of start assimilating because you're like, all right, I got convicted. Let me see if I can get out. Was that the thought process? Because I want to go through the prison stages a little bit. Because some guys went in
I
there.
can't live here. That's my thing. I can't be here. It's
Right.
that I don't belong here.
Is
I
that
don't,
so?
I don't,
So
I don't,
did
I don't
the
belong in the
thoughts
jungle.
of suicide exacerbate?
After I lost my first appeal,
Right. Prison is a brutal place.
which it is.
And I would imagine the moment you walk in, there's just darkness.
Right. I
There's
was
darkness in
devastated.
your mind.
Right.
It's a really brutal place, and it's brutal because you never get peace and quiet.
No.
There's people yelling and screaming all the
Constantly.
time. You always have to follow a regimen, right?
Yes.
On top of that, guards abuse you by, Jeff told me something the other day when he was in, when you get good food, okay, when you happen to get a good meal, they only give you 10 minutes. If you get the bad shit,
You sit all
you
day.
sit there for 45 minutes
That's
looking at
correct.
the bad shit.
Exactly.
That's abuse.
Of course.
So you have to live through all these situations, these dark situations, right? So it's not a walk in the park, right? And on top of that, you told me that story about the guy who walked into your cell
Right.
and he was making a pass. What did he say?
Right.
What did he say to you? About his
He
well-hung guy?
said, in a real hung gay situation.
What did he, well, I assume, man, there's no female,
obviously
there's
wasn't
no
white, I'm
female
guessing.
prisoners.
He was black.
I
And
figured
black
that
dude, but
out.
what did he say? What was the line he said to you?
He's like, my girlfriend says that it hurts her real bad when I make love to her, and he said like can you tell me, can you look over here and tell me if it's too big or if it's too small? I'm like, get the hell out of my cell. What is wrong with you?
Right. Did you ever have any
No,
situations
no.
like that, minimum security? No, nothing like that, right? Nobody saw you.
There was.
Because you are a matinee idol before you had your cancer. You had-
I mean, there was problems that I had, but because of my size back then.
Right, nobody
I
fucked
mean, I
with
was
you.
250, 6'3",
Right, gotcha.
so, you
Right.
know, it's different.
These are lifers. These guys
And
never coming home.
where he
Life
is,
is- so
is
they
not
have nothing to
where I am.
lose.
No, they
They
couldn't
got
give a
nothing to
fuck.
lose.
They don't care.
Were you ever a target of beatings?
I got beaten by officers. I have.
By officers?
Yes. But I never had beaten by inmates. My problems were not necessarily inmates.
Why officers?
Also because I was
Didn't want to take those
I
classes.
didn't want to take courses.
Well, you don't want to take the courses.
State mandated courses require you to go to anger management, go to ART, alcohol economics, all these kind of programs based upon the case.
Right.
So they automatically assume that you
Okay.
did it. I
Okay.
could not take these cases. I could not take these programs based upon my case. I was fighting an actual innocence case.
Okay.
Right.
So in the course of me fighting that, if I would have took these cases and
That
would have
would've been
granted
a
for the case,
problem.
it would have been a
You're
problem. In front of the
admitting-
judge, I'm
Yep.
admitting guilt.
You're admitting guilt.
I was
let's-
angry within this crime because
Right.
this crime was so horrendous that I had to be angry to commit it.
Right.
Right.
If I was not angry, why did I take this program?
And let's not forget what I think would be one of the harshest conditions of prison, the weight of the thoughts in your mind. Because the thoughts just keep on coming. And I know that thoughts can be brutal when you're not even in prison.
But you-
because you
but
got
you-
the vortex of chaos in your mind.
Right. People that are strong-minded and comes from a strong household, okay, what happens is that when you're behind the wall, you have to eliminate everything that goes on outside the wall. Whatever goes on outside, what's in the outer world, because prison and society is two different worlds.
Yeah.
It's like you going from Earth to Mars.
Right.
Okay? It's a whole different world. So once you can separate yourself from what's going on in the street, because you have to, it becomes an acceptability aspect of it. You're not going to be. Let's get to reality. You're not going to have no sex. You're not going to be with no woman.
Yeah.
You're not going to drive
those
a car.
are the thoughts that contribute
right.
to your
These are
mind.
Exactly. You're not going to wear nice clothes no more.
Right.
These parts that you have to accept. Once you learn to accept that and deal with in this realm.
Right.
Okay. That this is the way it is.
Right.
Okay.
Your new reality.
Your new reality. This is your world. This is your place of being
Right.
for now.
Right.
And that's what happened to me.
13 years in, a guy came to you and said, take the chip off your shoulder.
Right.
And then for the other 4.5 years or whatever you were in there, it was a little better.
Right.
Do you think if you were taught that, if some guy was influential and he came to you 3 or 4 years later, your ride would have been smoother?
I think it would have.
It would have been smoother.
I think it would have. I believe so. It would have. But he saw the anger. He saw the hurt, and I couldn't think. I couldn't think past it.
Well, you know,
It's called humbling yourself, and you cannot repair what's been done. All you can do is make it better.
Well, look, in general, if you live an angry life, and you know, I get the sense for a lot of exonerees, I mean, there must be some weirdness about this, having been robbed of all these years, right? So how could you not be angry on some level? It's very tough to pull away from that anger, right?
I'm happy to be home.
No,
can't
no,
relinquish
I
the
get that. I'm not talking about you. I'm just sort of in a general way, right? You get thrown out of prison.
With nothing.
When I'm saying thrown out, in the sense that you get thrown out with nothing, nobody really apologizes. Hey, slap on the back. Good luck, asshole. Take it easy, right? On some level, I would imagine that in and of itself would reignite the anger on some level. I mean, because I'm looking at it from my perspective, that would make not even anger, but bitter. It would make me bitter. Because it would be like, because you can't undo what happened.
That's the whole.
So that's what you live
answer,
on.
Right? That's what I live with right now.
Right. What are the mechanisms in your mind? In other words, what is the thought process that took you away from anger? In other words, is there something that you can articulate here that you can say there was a certain train of thought?
My train of thought is if I can't get past what has happened to me and move forward,
Right.
I'm going to spend the rest of my life here.
Right. So it's a saving thing. It's you by default you have to. You have no choice, right?
Even with Shelly right here that sits by me now. She looks at me and she says, "You're amazing," because she can't understand how you did so many years and you don't really carry
And I
grudge and
agree with her,
hateful.
by the way.
Okay?
I think you're an exceptional person.
Something I can't explain myself, but I do have moments, okay, where I lash out. You know what I'm saying?
Which is normal.
Right.
Normal.
And
you want
she's
Shelley,
listenable.
when that happens, you understand,
Give him
right?
space.
In other words, if it was a regular guy and he was lashing out, you might get a little pissed off,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But because it's Selwyn and what he went through, there's a deep sense of understanding.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like today,
And
today,
that's
just
what
come
you
here.
really get from her. That's
Yeah,
tough to
but
find in people.
I get more than
so
that
I
too.
applaud Shelley for being that way.
Like she asked me, like she asked me, why are you not speaking to me? Even like Miss coming up today, she's like, why are you not speaking to me? And I'm like, I can't answer you why, because my mind is someplace else, and she can't fix it. What did I do? Whatever I did, I would just be quiet. I can't tell you what you did, but my mind drifts out because I'm at some time and moment. It's
And
like deja vu. I'm someplace else, and she takes it personally, like it's about.
It's a funny
her.
thing, and I relate to you on so many levels, because it's like me with the cancer, right? I got stage 4 cancer. I don't know if you know that.
No.
I got stage. That's why I was laughing about shaving the head with the cancer earlier.
You look good, Jay. Well,
I do, don't I?
Don't
I got
lie,
stage
don't
4.
lie.
Been through chemo. Did 55 days of radiation. Did it all. But
Get to
it's
the
the
point.
same.
We got
People,
6
no,
minutes.
it's just the thing with your mind. Tommy will tell you, dude. I'm the most positive person in the
Right.
world.
He is.
Like it is. I'm happy. I'm nothing. And people like, how can you not be bitter? How do
You know what?
not
Let me just
hate
stop
what's
you right
going
there.
on?
You are very positive, but there are, because we're talking about anger, it sort of goes in the same vein here. But I do see things in you sometimes where you think that, hey, if I go, I go. In other words,
Well, it's the reality
That's
of it,
reality,
though, right?
right.
That's
I
the
understand
reality
that,
of
but
it,
in other
right?
words,
You
as
gotta
positive
be,
as you are, there is a negative thought.
It's
that
not
the
a negative
cancer-
thought.
well,
It's a reality thought.
Well, yeah,
I'm a
but it's a
realist.
negative reality.
But
though.
it's a realistic
It's a negative
thought.
reality that the cancer could come back.
Of
knock
course,
on wood.
it's not gone, Tommy. My cancer's
No,
not gone.
I understand. Yeah, but you're down to 2. You said.
I'm under 2.
You're under 2, which
Right,
is
but
great. I mean, I
because
might
of-
be 3, 4
You
now. I'm
might
talking
be,
to
but
you.
mine is being suppressed because of drugs that I'm taking. Right. So the cancer's going to kill me, right? I know the cancer's going to kill me. But
So he accepted that.
but
You
I
accepted it,
accept.
right.
I,
Just
you
like
have
me. Acceptance
to
is a
accept.
big thing,
Just
right?
like me accepting the reality that
Which is
I'm
where
in
he's
prison.
at. That's
what
why
I'm
I'm
trying to say.
saying,
I understand
right.
it perfectly
This is
well.
it.
Acceptance is
I can accept
probably
it.
everything,
You can't
right?
move
Yeah.
forward.
Right.
Exactly.
You can't
Otherwise,
move
what am I
forward
going to do?
without
I'm going to sit in my house and wait to
Right.
die.
Now, listen,
What are
on
you
some
gonna
level,
do?
I ask these questions because, there's certain things in my mind that go on. I mean, nowhere near your case.
It's inevitable. I mean, what can you do? You have
That's
to
it.
have no
What do you-
choice.
what can you
We will
do,
jump
man?
on the building,
It
live it out,
is what
deal
it
with
is,
it.
right?
Let's wrap this thing up. All right, so you got this beautiful lady. You just got married. What is life now? We discussed the fact that you take a shower in your shorts, and I'm glad we can all laugh at it. You look out the
I
window.
don't take a shower every day now. She has a problem with that.
You don't- is
what
it a
I'm saying?
bathing
well, listen, he doesn't want to clean shorts every other.
I was in prison. I can't take a shower every day.
Right.
She wants to shower. She
Well, yeah,
reminds
from a
me.
woman's perspective, though, she wants you to be clean. She doesn't want you to
Every
smell.
day, I mean, come on.
I understand
Okay.
where you're coming from, but it is a normal thing for human beings to take a shower every
it
day.
is.
Has life gotten better when you got married?
Yeah, it has.
It has.
It
Does she give you a sense of an anchor there, a sense of
a
stability?
sense of stability. She gives me a sense of security. I
That
know
helps a lot.
I know I'm okay. I know I'm
Right.
I'm not
You're
dealing
not
with,
alone.
I'm not alone, and I'm not dealing with non-trust factors. When I
Right.
say non-trust factors, I mean I don't have to worry about her. I'm not dealing with the fact that she
Trust is huge.
Yeah, she. I say something to her, she's gonna turn on me.
Right.
Like the officer turns on me when I put my all on
She
all to
gives you
them.
the patience that you need.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and she can cook.
And she can cook. What are you having us over for dinner?
Them pork chops was,
She can cook.
was something unique.
Good.
Oof, I ain't had a pork chop in 17 and a half years. Oof,
God
I'm
bless.
serious.
Listen, man, I got to tell you, I think you're. I met several exonerees, as you know now. We're working on that thing, but I think your case is probably the most exceptional I've seen so far, and you are probably one of the most exceptional human beings, exonerees, but human beings in general, for your will to accept. That's not an easy thing to do.
It's not.
That's probably one of the hardest
But
things.
don't forget, it
And
can
when you-
happen to you.
Right, and when you look at, I had a couple notes here of prosecutorial guilt. I often wonder the assholes who did this to you, whoever was complicit in this thing, what their thoughts are. One of the toughest things, Elton John sang, "Sorry seems to be the hardest word," right?
It is.
And that is one of the hardest things for human beings to do, is say they're sorry.
Sorry.
Because in essence, they have to admit that they're human. And that's a tough thing to get by. But not only that, but human on a large scale, because the mistakes they made towards you is huge. And I wonder if there's somebody that might watch this that had something to do with putting you in there, wrongfully convicting you. I wonder how they feel. I can't help but think if they're sitting on a couch
Anyone
thinking,
ever reach
I-
out to you?
No, I believe that when you have members like Jimmy knows, when you have prosecutors, I believe that when they turn over and they go on the other side and they become lawyers,
Right.
or defense lawyer, I believe what happens is that's their form of saying their apology. I think verbally they can't say it, but I think they actually by turn over, because they see how much wrong they have done over here and see things happen within that side of the system. I believe their way of saying they apologize by giving back and becoming a lawyer. And I think Jimmy knows a person that's like that.
You still
Okay.
suffer from trust issues?
I
In
do
other words,
have,
you've accepted. Has that alleviated some of the trust issues?
I have trust. I do have trust issues.
And how could
I
you
do.
not? But has it dwindled down a little bit?
Only with my
this
wife.
lady.
And me.
And my wife. And Jimmy. And you. Okay. That's what I told you. But my friends and
Might be a
family,
good way to end the show.
they still do me dirty.
One
you know
day
what I'm
at a
saying?
time.
I wanted to talk about that crazy Baroda fucking month and a half, man, but
Wow.
Shirley May.
I'm so shocked with the house.
we're out of time, but I just, okay,
story
so
goes on and on
what
and
did
on.
we,
The DA gave Shirley Mayhew a home for her testimony back towards me.
Have you
That's what that was
forgiven her?
about. I have forgiven her. I have.
have forgiven her, but you
today
can't forget.
I cannot forget. I will not forget.
Right.
And I
If
will
you
never,
see her in the street-
I will-
Does
I
she
will
still
cross
have
over.
that house?
No.
so
they
you
took
don't
it
even
back
want to, you
from
don't
her.
even want to
They
come
took
and
it back.
Yeah, they took it back from her.
They took the house
They
South
moved it back from
Carolina,
Mount Vernon,
right?
something South
Yeah.
Carolina.
You don't even want to confront her.
No.
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 So you'd walk as far away from her as
Exactly.
possible.
You don't want to, because you
you
don't
feel
want
it's gonna
to.
Because
dredge
you
a
did
lot
this
of-
only for gain.
Yeah,
You did
that's
this for money.
nothing.
Right.
You don't want to get back involved
Never.
with that.
All right, listen, what did we learn here today, Jimmy? What, any parting thoughts here?
No, I mean, just a friend. I think I got a friend.
Thank you,
I
Jay.
got a
You're my
bond.
friend too.
I got a bond with my brother.
You too,
That's
Tom.
it. That's what it's about.
Shelley, what parting thoughts?
Yeah, I think that any situation like this is difficult when you are either married, engaged, or involved. And women out here, or anyone in general, they need to have a platform to be able to express themselves and maybe be able to learn.
Oh, that's interesting on your end because you're dealing with an exoneree, you're saying, right?
Absolutely.
Right, that's interesting. So do you think that you need to put together maybe support?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's interesting. I never thought of it from your side. That's
I
right.
think that they just, sometimes they need advice, they need a little encouragement. Men could come home very angry, upset, and they don't know how to deal with it. So they need a forum to kind of like, explain to them they've been stripped emotionally.
Right.
So it's really hard for them to be emotional with you.
They do say that when somebody's incarcerated, his whole family's incarcerated.
Right.
And on some level, though, you're still going through that because he still has incarceration
Absolutely.
issues. That's very interesting.
Absolutely.
Well, 10 months is nothing compared to 17 and a half
Very
years,
new.
man.
It's fresh.
It's nothing.
Brother Selwyn, you get the last word. What do you want to say here? I know
wanna say
you had the last word the last time you
Talk
said you
about
had
me,
to be
dude.
free.
Talk about
It's
me.
hard.
Make it about me.
I love all of y'all, Jimmy, Tom, especially my wife, Michelle.
Well, you love your wife more than you do us?
Yes, I do. I have to.
I don't get that. That makes no sense to me.
I thank you for giving me the opportunity to express this story once again. But
I just hope a lot of eyes get on this.
I do too. It could happen to you. It could happen to anybody's family. Only thing I can say is that in an occurrence like this, just stand strong and keep your faith in God and your trust in your family, and that there is an out. And just stay faithful. And I just wish that this would never happen to anybody, even though it happened to me.
Never give up.
Never give up. I live by those
Never
words.
give up.
Never give up.
All I ask of you is for you to prove these words are true. You better learn to show consideration. All I ask of you is to listen to my point of view. You better learn to show consideration. You should have learned to show consideration.